right? If we expose you to if I expose you to enough vagina, I think you'll start disliking dick.
We all know how that turned out.
Perfectly according to my Christian mentors.
No, okay, yeah, you're lumping yourself up with the Christian conservatives now. What an about face.
Right? The winning side.
I think you just came. I saw you just came from another show. So
oh my god,
he was rubbing his hands with those liberals, you know.
Oh my god, yeah. I thought that was a lot of fun. I'm sorry, audience members. I know no one's here yet. But sorry, audience members, for the late start. You know, we don't usually do that here. It's actually extremely rare that we're any more late than 5 minutes here. But yeah, I was on another show. They had asked me about this just yesterday, and they actually adjusted their show up so that I could come in, and I was gonna leave on time, but liberals have to be dealt with. You know, they get under my skin, right? They get under my skin the way undocumented immigrants get under GIBBS' skin, right? Something's got to be done. But yeah. So I was on the Live and Learn, I believe it's what's called the Pisco Soy Pill Hutch, excuse me, an IRI collaboration, it seems. And they brought me on as a guest, and we had a fun discussion. Yeah, I mean, it's what you expect. I mean, liberals, they despise leftists, right? They don't like us, right? They pretend, they try to be cordial about it, but they hate our ideas, right? And they hate our politics. And so the only one who had barely contained vitriol against me was Hutch, right? And that's why I said near the end of that stream, I was like, well, I would love to have a one-on-one conversation here, right? Because we've run into each other a few times on panels, and every time there's been big friction between us. But it's a panel, right? And so other people got to get in, and we got to move on. We don't have time, right? So I love one-on-one conversation, even if it's not necessarily a debate. Just hey, let's try to work it out. Let's try to talk to each other, understand each other. Hopefully do so in the best in the most
good faith
charitable
way.
Light. Yeah. But I don't know if that will happen. I feel if it happens, it'll be explosive.
Not with that attitude.
Not with that attitude. Fair enough, right? But no, but I actually would I would like to understand him, because people apparently with Soy Pill, right? Before the start of the stream, he was telling me that
I love you so much. Thank you.
I love her too. Tell her I love her. Tell her I love her. Tell her I love her.
We all love her.
She just brought me food on a plate.
Tell her I love her, and I love her too.
Everyone
loves you.
I love her. Everyone loves you. It's fine.
She's not in the room. She left. You heard the door.
She wants to just drop the food off and go.
But anyway, but no. So I forget exactly what I was saying there.
You hate the guy.
You're a good faith conversation.
Yeah. I don't hate Hutch. I haven't known him enough yet.
You saw the bad things about him, and only him.
He seems to very much dislike my politics. Every time he talks, I seem to very much dislike his politics. I get him to say he'll support segregationists, right? Literally Democratic segregationists, as long as they're not an R, right? Or they're not Republican, he'll vote for them. I say no to segregation, right? Surprising, right? Breaking
How convenient for you, Prime, that you can say no. You have the luxury to say no.
So I said that. Yeah, and so there was just a lot of friction between us. So I would love to have a conversation.
What a surprise! The Democrats want segregation. What a surprise!
Yeah, I'm saying what a surprise.
It's not a surprise at all to me.
Exactly. GIBBS, I hear you. GIBBS, I fucking hear you. GIBBS, right? All that criticism you heard with me about. Hope you're doing well. Don't die, friend.
All
that criticism you heard about me about the Democratic Party is for exactly this shit, right? Yes, they'll literally accept segregation. Well, I don't want to put this on everybody, but like people like him, Hutch, will literally accept segregationists, right? If it's for power. Anything for power, rather than like, hey, maybe we should actually have some level of standards. And I got them to like at least the rest to like admit that there are some standards. I didn't have time to like get them down on what those standards exactly were, right? But they kind of admitted, oh yeah, I guess we should have some of it. Like the Democratic Party should mean something other than the name Democratic Party, right? It shouldn't be like a gang, right? Like, well, this one is blue and that one's red, right? And I guess we just fight and we just rep our set, right? Like the Republicans, I think, should stand for something, right? If our friend Gibbs is voting for a Republican, they should meet some level of standards. Gibbs would be the one to decide that, not me. But like, they should be something, right? And not just a name where someone attaches to it, and I guess they're obligated to Gibbs' vote. Fuck that.
Yeah,
sorry.
fuck
I'm worked up all over again.
Fuck the Uniparty. Fuck these. Welcome to the Republican
Party.
Party.
No, but Gibbs. That's a good way. And I should have said that, right? But like, fuck the Uniparty. Actually, there should be differences. There should be standards. At some point, there should be standards. And I feel like that's not an unreasonable statement, right? And I got most of the best. Not Hutch. I don't think.
No, I mean, I think that like Trump is the reaction from the right that like Bernie was from the left, right? They're like populist. Fuck the Uniparty. It's like a top, like up-down shift instead of just like a left-right shift. I think is a big one that like people don't really seem to understand. How like disenfranchised people are with this like Uniparty concept where nothing is getting done. People just want to try something else. Whether that's a good or bad thing is a whole different conversation, but I think it's a populist. It feels like it's a worldwide populist kind of movement too.
Oh yeah, certainly populist movement. No, I agreed. Sorry everyone, I'm still getting myself together here. I do apologize.
You're so discombobulated from
Gibbs,
dealing with those libs.
Are you a Trump won person or the Democrats lost person? It doesn't matter at the end of the day. Trump's president, but do you think he won or do you think just the Democrats lost?
Can it be both? I mean, that's a good question. Really, I like the Democrats failed real hard. I want to say that, but however, the Republicans, I think it's both. I guess it's a cop-out answer. It's because the reason I say that is because Republicans seem to have been able to like capitalize, and they like switched a lot of voter base. They like kind of feels like a bigger culture shift than the first time Trump won. First time Trump won, people were like ashamed to say they voted for Trump. This time, people are like, yeah, I voted for Trump. Hell yeah, brother. But at the same time, the Dems just like didn't even seem to have they made fun of Trump for having concepts of a plan, and then they cut their own party, but leader out from under him with a coup, and then put Kamala in there, and who's not a likable person. I'm just like, nobody wanted to vote for Kamala. I don't know why they thought that was the win.
What I think happened was,
I think it starts both. I don't know.
No. So like, I think he won out in the end, as in like people are now more willing to like you said, they're more willing to be like, yeah, fuck yeah, I voted for Trump, I am MAGA, so on and so forth. But I think what happened with that was, one, Trump round 2 is completely different than Trump round 1. Trump round 2 comes with the idea that he got that he had an election stolen from him, right? That's what Trump round 2 comes with. We got 4 years of Biden, and he had an election stolen from him. So that's like a MAGA rally behind him. And then I think the fact that the Democrats couldn't get everyone to rally behind Kamala, and then all the infighting that's come afterwards, right, has only given you guys so much ammo and so much ego boost that it's like all you can do is own the libs all day, because the libs can't even agree amongst each other, right? Even right now, Prime comes on and starts complaining about the libs, and you're kind of egging it on, which is fair, right? Your team won.
I mean, but on top of that, I think there seems to be this soul searching that the Dems are having. That I guess the Republicans there's factions, but even when Trump took over and the old guard died, it was pretty much okay. We're everybody's getting on board with this idea, right? The Dems don't seem to have that, and what they do seem to stand for doesn't seem to be super popular. The idea, in the '90s, the Dems could be super border control, and then now it's we're gonna give nobody voted, illegals voted, and now we're finding reports of it, right? And it's just it feels like the credibility is just lost. And then what's with the shutdown, right? okay, some of this, I mean, maybe the Republican messaging is just better, but like, and I don't know how much of this is a substance versus like messaging thing, but Republicans are like, okay, they've shut the government down because the Republicans don't want to send your money overseas, right? And like, I think to the average American going, hey, I'd like my food stamps, please. It's pretty makes sense to them. Like, hey, well, why the fuck are we sending money over there when I can't even get my money today? And I think the Dems just haven't had a good messaging response to that. Whether or not you agree with that being the like case is a whole different thing as well.
I think the polling shows that the general
but
public.
Before you go, just 1 second. And I'll send it back to you, Gibbs. Did you start a collab thing yet?
Oh yeah, I can send you one.
Or I can do it. Just send me the your invite link, because or else I won't be able to. Yeah, thank you. All right, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just saying, I think I could be wrong, but I think polling actually shows that amongst the perception of the general public, like the general public on average, like blames the shutdown on the Republicans. I think that holds true, like historically, and also like Republicans, I believe they hold a majority in the Senate and they hold a majority in the House of Representatives. So it's like do they not? I don't see how you can blame Democrats when they don't.
Well, so I mean, CNN actually, I did a real kind of thing. I can't think of the guy's name. The guy that just wrote that Biden tell-all book, right? He just kind of like exposed one of the House people on the air. I just saw the clip of that. He goes, well, hold on. Traditionally, for the last several shutdowns, the party that's like holding the vote out and won't go along with the majority is considered the one that's like not is the one responsible for the shutdown. So that this time it would be the Dems because they're the ones holding out. And so with that, like the Republicans do have the majority in both, but they don't have like a super majority. They can't go in there and just like do like, oh, we have enough to just like pass our shit without the Democrats saying anything. They have like, I don't know, what is it, 8 seats or 11 seats or something that they need to get each time they vote. I don't know off the top of my head.
But they have the presidency, they have the House, they have the Senate. It's like, yeah,
so
I understand.
They still got to get just enough to get it.
I don't see how you're literally blaming the minority when you have power.
Yeah, but this is what they always do. Any shutdown, Republican or Dems, the one that's not going along with it is the smaller group. That's the one holding up the thing. Like I didn't make this rule. This is just what they've decided.
No, but even
other shutdowns.
Again, I'm pretty sure historically, like it is Republicans that are generally on average, like that are blamed for the shutdown.
Yeah, but that's because
today.
That's because hold on. In that case, no. In that case, like they were responsible because they were the minority and they weren't going along with it in those other cases.
I believe today's shutdown.
I don't know. The polling I'm seeing is pretty much wholeheartedly like saying it's the Dems' fault.
Okay.
I mean, maybe
could be wrong.
I'm sure you can find some other polls, but anything I've seen, people are like, yeah, and then this is what I'm saying. Even like the talking heads on CNN and MSNBC are like, okay, guys, like we can't just keep spinning this. Like it's like to the point that like even they're like, it's just not sticking no more. The messaging, I don't know. Like maybe it's a vibes thing, I guess, but that's what it seems like to me. I don't remember it ever being like this for any party. Like as it is like right now for the Dems, in my lifetime at least.
Outside of no food stamps, I've never really understood what a government shutdown meant. It feels like they shut down the government every 2 years, 3 years.
Yeah, it lost its speed since the Bush days.
So, a government shutdown, so much of the government stops running, right? And it's mostly stuff that you don't interface with on a regular basis.
Exactly.
And so that's why so much of it is invisible to most people, right? But if it goes on long enough, you'll start to notice it when services aren't delivered, right? Like you may not directly, we're just going to pretend we're talking about local government for a second, right? But like if it was a local government, if all of a sudden, trash stopped getting picked up because, you stop paying the workers, right? Well, you'll start to notice that, right? Or the streets aren't being fixed, right? Like road work just stopped altogether. They were doing road work and it stopped, things like that. Even though you don't usually interface with like the Department of Transportation in that way, you'd figure it out. So with this shutdown, yes, like in terms of SNAP, like we could actually still have more SNAP. We actually do have money to pay for it, right? Trump is making the active decision not to use those funds, right? There's a court case in which federal judges are telling him absolutely you have to use these funds for their intended purposes. You can't just like not ignore them, right, and make people suffer. Like there is some sort of deadline for when the Trump administration has to respond to that. So that's still working its way through the courts. But there is still like contingency money for that. Doesn't necessarily have to stop there. But in any case, right? Another thing that you got is the air traffic controllers not getting paid, like and members of the military and all that, right? There's like a lot of people, and like and furthermore, like others like have to interface with the governments, like you don't, right? But like in terms of, like the CDC, right? There are doctors all over the place like that interact, and doctors and medical researchers that interact with the CDC and the larger like Department of Health, right? And they talk to those government bureaucrats who are so evil. They reach out to them to get resources, to get information, right? Those people aren't there, right? Those are empty offices right now. And so work that relies on that, it stops. And you could the national forests, right? They shut down. But shut down means like you could still get into them, like they're not cordoned off, right? But if you have a problem, then there's not a park ranger to come and rescue. You're on your own, right? There is, I mean, there's just so many levels of the government that just like are suspended at this point. We don't get to interact with them. So I'll let you respond to that. Also, if someone wants me to read something, I'm going to read that afterwards. But if you want to say something, go ahead.
Is it a manifesto?
Yes.
Oh no, I mean, yeah, that makes sense. I guess eventually we'll feel the residues. I guess SNAP. Yeah, all the people that had SNAP just got hit with it. All the people who got food stamps, food benefits. I don't know how long you keep that up without people once again rioting. I told that to Lactoid on Twitter. I was like, if you can take them away, but like, I mean, at a certain point, like people are gonna revolt against that. Like you're just taking away people's means of food and then telling them they need to eat like MREs and slop for like.
Yeah, but who's taking it away? Yeah. It's like the Republicans.
The government.
The government, right? But the Republicans approved a bill, and they're like, okay, these guys are saying if you don't approve this bill with all this funding to go to another country, like, then you're not going to get your food stamps. Like, that's a bad look. Like, one side's going, hey, we've already got this all funded. All we got to do is just pass it, and the other guy's going, well, unless you add X, Y, Z for the people over here.
I think I think there's an issue sometimes in this space where people are like, yeah, I understand that's like probably how it works, but like the average person's just like, yo, Republicans are president. I don't even think they give a fuck about. All they know is Trump is president and he shut down food stamps. That's all they fucking care about, bro.
I think it's more.
People don't research and go into like the minutia of like, oh well, actually, it's the minority.
I think you might be wrong with this because I feel like most people know, the Republicans are in charge, but I feel like the average person understands, hey, there's two parties, right? And the Republicans are going,
well,
hey,
but then,
hold on, the Republicans are going, we don't try to...
Is there any polling data?
Yeah, there is. They just passed one today. If you go look, it was all over the news, or maybe it was yesterday, but it's been all over the news, and it was talking about how Trump is down in some areas. However, Democrats are way down in because people just are like most every area, basically, and it's because they're doing shit like this where the messaging is like, okay, Republicans are in charge, but these guys, they're like, we passed a moderate bill. And then y'all are just going, no, we have everything we want.
No. I'm talking specifically about the question about addressing, like, on average, from the public perception, who is blamed for the shutdown.
That was what this poll kind of dealt with.
Can you post it then? Because I've seen a Fox News story that says like refers to a poll. I can't track it down.
Sure,
all the polling data that I've seen, which could be mistaken.
What I was saying, no, you missed what I was saying. Yes, Democrats are down in general, right? Because Democrats have bad approving, but
they've been down for a while. Trump, that's not new.
Yeah, but for a while, yeah. Trump is like some of the lowest approval numbers we've ever had, right, across all those areas. That's what I was referring to him. I'm sorry, like we can hear a lot of GIBBS. We got a lot of plastic or whatever.
That's not me. I think it's him, Dolly. But
maybe. Okay.
I've been muted between things.
Okay, no, sorry. I don't mean to blame you. I don't mean to blame the white man for my problems.
That's not true. You do be better. You do intend to blame
them. Sometimes. But okay, I'd like to. While we're waiting for Ali to get back, let me read this tweet from our friend Fairy Queen. she had this point about SNAP, right? About food stamps.
But this is going to be like this is the manifesto then.
It's 3 paragraphs. It's not not bad. But they're not even particularly.
She's definitely paying for Twitter because she's not. It's greater than 140 characters. That's for sure.
Oh, she's got one of those badges, right? Yeah. So I guess
There you
she's
go.
paying.
She's an Elon Musk supporter.
Okay. Well, just before I'm going to read this tweet, right? But I actually want to address this because fuck Elon Musk in all, well, not always. Don't put your dick in him, or let him put your dick in him, right? Right? Like he's disgusting. But like fuck Elon Musk, right? Fuck the Cybertruck he rode in on. However, he did say one thing that I agreed with about Twitter, right? When he's taking over, right? Like talking about like, you mean this platform that you guys are using? Sorry, I'm getting a lot of like chewing.
Yeah, well,
or,
I was gonna say, Ali, I don't think you're using the right mic because I believe you think you're muted, but you're not muted.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh,
you might be
shit.
using the wrong mic. Yeah.
Also, your audio quality is worse.
Yeah. It might be the case you're using the wrong mic. No worries, friend. It's not a big deal. But for Twitter, right? So what I was about to say,
Is that better?
That's much better. That makes sense now.
Yeah.
It all tracks.
Your
All right, cool.
Deep, wonderful voice is coming through. Love it. So this platform, Twitter, this like great communication tool used across the world, right? Literally used in and from corporate life to like literal revolutions. This great tool. It's weird that there's this idea that like people shouldn't pay for it. Like, of course, I remember when he started introducing like these paid like tiers and stuff, right? People pushing back like, I'll never pay for Twitter. The fuck? You guys use this. There are people using this thing every day, right? Whether they're just reading it or actively posting it and having like conversations and like pulling together communities. You use this tool all the time, and it's an offense that you to be asked to pay for it to help support the platform. That shit's crazy. That's crazy to me, right? Like, at some point you have to pay for these tools, right? Like,
so is that true for like all of the like YouTube? Should we have to like pay subscription fees to YouTube to use YouTube?
I pay YouTube Premium.
No. So like because you choose to pay YouTube Premium, I'm saying should the average person have to have a YouTube subscription like a Netflix subscription?
No. Well, for Netflix subscription, yes, probably.
No. Like for
actually,
YouTube.
no, not even that, right? I'll say no. You can have a free tier. Just understand, like you're just gonna be hit with ads, right? Don't complain about ads if you don't want to pay, right? Like,
well, so here's my problem with YouTube per se is that like I'll go ahead and pay for YouTube Premium, and then these fucking YouTubers will hit me with 4 ads, 5 ads in their YouTube video. Anyways, they're saying the ads, right? They're speaking the ads into their videos, which like go fuck yourself. I paid for a specific reason. I don't want ad reads in my fucking video.
I don't know. Like, I think it's a simple skip, and YouTube actually has given, even responding to that. YouTube has given us a tool, right? Have you seen it recently? Right, like there's this when you're watching a YouTube video, if there's a point in time, and it could be anything, right? The point in time where most people skip a section, right? YouTube will give it the ability to automatically skip it, right? Basically, it skips to the exact point where everyone else starts like paying attention to the video again. Like that's amazing. Like that's a response to YouTube ad reads, right there, right? Yeah. So like even then, YouTube is giving
that eventually you're going to have to start paying to use Instagram and paying to use YouTube and paying to use these like big name apps because it makes sense that you would have to, because right now what's going on with Snapchat is that they're going to have to start charging you for your photo storage, right? They've amassed so much people storing on their cloud that they're like, hey, we're either going to delete your shit that you're not using or we're going to have to like charge you for it, because like at a certain point we're just holding data for you guys for no reason. So,
and for like expanded storage, like that's like a perfectly reasonable thing. And like the thing I'm just responding, not that like all of them should, everyone should, and who interacts with it should be forced to pay, right? Like every normer should be forced to pay. That's not what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
I'm just saying that like I hated the idea that it was offensive that
Fair.
Elon Musk, right, was asking you to support this platform. That some of you guys build businesses off of Twitter, right? Like, and to say like, oh wow, well, certainly I won't pay for that. No, fuck that. That's crazy. That's like crazy entitlement. So, but anyway, now. And I said that in response to Fairy Queen, who I believe is paying for it because she's got like a blue check mark next to her name.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm saying like, good work, FQ, for supporting a platform that as our friend Corey was mentioning, she uses quite a bit. She uses quite a bit. So she's not one of the people that I'm yelling at right now. But anyway, her message is genuinely blew my mind. But if I understood this person, Logo Daedalus, she's tweeting at, right? But if I understood Logo Daedalus post correctly, his claim is that EBT, food stamp SNAP, is meant to absorb the food subsidies we give to General Mills, Kellogg's, and other mega farms. Got curious and spun a ton of follow-up questions into ChatGPT for fun. Felt shocked, to be honest. If AI is to be believed, EBT, food stamps, is a gold, quote unquote, socialist sticker on a corporate agribusiness tin. SNAP exists to keep demand consistent so that farms and grocery supply chains stay stable. Without subsidies, farmers are more vulnerable to weather, pests, and natural disasters, and your grocery store bill would fluctuate anywhere between 10 to 30% in a normal year of staples. That's right, your capitalized your grocery bill, not a person on food stamps, but your food bill. However much you save in taxes by Uncle Sam slashing farm subsidies and food stamps, you would wind up making up when you shopped at Walmart during a bad season. So I will respond to this quickly. Thank you, FQ, for sending in this tweet. And as far as I'm aware, that this is absolutely correct, right? My understanding of the situation is that, yeah, that's what these farm subsidies do. They stabilize prices for all of us, right? Like when there's a bad harvest happen, right, all the time. Like farmers, just like in general, like they usually just go bankrupt. It's a very hard business, right? Where a lot of it's outside of your control. You can be a great farmer, but like you can't. You're not Storm from the X-Men, right? Like you can't just make it rain when you need to. You can't have optimal weather or whatever other conditions that get in the farmer's way. These things are out of your control, and you can have horrible seasons. In those cases where there's just not as much food prices, well, we could lose a bunch of farmers, so you lose a bunch of producers, right? And the price might fluctuate like on the market, right? Like on the what are they called? Oh, sorry, there's a second part too. Sorry, she's saying there's a second part. Sorry, I guess there is a manifesto.
I told you.
There's a second. She said,
and there's a third part.
Okay, I didn't see that. All right, so I'll read the next part. Sorry. And I'm sorry for questioning you, Corey. Okay, so she says, continue on. Again, I am a newbie, not an econ person, but a second argument I found persuasive against the free market for food, quote unquote free market for food rationality, is national security. The United States has an interest in keeping the largest farms on planet Earth under our thumbs. We are the second largest bread basket in the world. Our soybeans, grain, and meat, I think Ukraine might be the first, and meat give us leverage in trade negotiations with Mexico, Japan, South Korea, and China. Overproduction of food empowers America to both bully the rest of the world into doing what we want while slapping a humanitarian sticker in U.S. aid and SNAP to appear merciful. Welfare is the velvet glove on our iron fist of grain. Do you really want a free, quote unquote, free market for food? Or in other words, Americans whose meals could very well be at the mercy of Mexican tomato tariffs or Brazilian steak outselling Nebraska beef? Remember what happened to U.S. gas prices when we boycotted Russia. Now imagine the type of price inflation with bread. That's what the free market, the quote unquote free market diet would mean. The United States is safer when we rule planet food. Then the final thing, Assuming my musings here are correct, I think that arguing over food stamps seems pretty petty and short-sighted. I am fine with excess food product going to feed the poor, and I am especially fine with the United States weaponizing its grain to protect our citizens. Um, I guess I agree with most of that except the last part. I'm not sure I want to weaponize food against other countries. I don't know in all the ways uh, the U.S. uses its food to weaponize against like others. Like that's an interesting concept. I know about the U.S. aid part, right? And so how going with the subsidies, U.S. aid was like a constant level of demand that farmers could expect, right? They could build that into their balance sheets, right? Like if you provide these staples, USA will buy them up, ship them out, right? Um, that was when it stabilized our farms, but it helped destabilize farms overseas. Maybe that's what you're talking about. So, like, if you flood, let's say Kenya, right? I don't know their situation, but like, let's say Kenya. If you flood Kenya's market with extremely cheap grain from overseas, right? Well, the local farmers can't actually compete with that. And so, like, instead of Kenya, again, I'm just using them for example. I don't really know the dynamics there, but that means Kenyan farmers can't actually get established. They can't grow and they can't be self-sufficient. And so that keeps those countries like destabilized and reliant. And that's something I'm not for,
Well,
right? I don't want that. Sorry, go ahead.
I would like to also say, like, okay, like there has been the idea that we can weaponize the grain thing for like I don't know a long time. I remember growing up, people going, "Oh, we can use 55-gallon drum of wheat, we can get 55 gallons drum of oil." You know what I'm saying? Like, and we'll see who starves first, right? That was back like the OPEC days, like when they were like, we had the big oil prices in what 70s or 80s. I remember my dad was telling me all these things. Nowadays though, there's like the other cost whenever you don't do the free market style for the like industries like, and I bring up ranching right all the time. And okay, yes, the grain industry has benefited greatly from subsidies, right? They've gotten all these guarantees, they've grown, people have swapped from growing the products that we need for like ranching to that, and that's part of the reason why we're seeing grain-fed and like corn-fed cattle like dying off and grass-fed going up, and that's part of the reason beef prices are so high. So yeah, like you can manipulate the market, but then you get like unintended consequences, right? And so that's why like a lot of like libertarians are gonna sit here and argue about like we don't need any subsidies, right? I'm not a libertarian, so I'm not gonna say that. However, I'm gonna say when I do look at it though, I feel like we do need to be more careful because it's very easy to get like a Maoist China or a Great Leap Forward kind of thing, or we have like a thing with communism, in Russia where they fucked up with all their fucking farming because they didn't understand the inter like connected dynamics of how a farming ecosystem by doing more of this in one area since it's land
Could you
based.
get your mic? You're closer to your face.
Yeah, so it's like when you do like one, there's only so much land in a country, right? And so when you switch all of it to grain farming that used to be corn or it used to be wheat or it used to be like other different. I mean, I guess it's still grain, but like grass. So it used to be all these different things, and we all suddenly start doing a product that wasn't there before. You're going to impact these other industries, and that's partially why the Great Leap Forward, and partially why what happened with Russia when they had their agriculture problems is they all focused on the wrong industries and at the like expense of others. And I think that's something that we've seen is actually happening in the United States, specifically with ranching, and that's why beef prices have shot up so high. And there's only small areas like where I live where we use grass, right? And like people don't like beef prices. So it's kind of like we need to be very careful when we're over here manipulating the agriculture, because I do think his second point was very good about the national security. I spoke that if we don't control our food, we're at the mercy of other countries. And so if we like eliminate an industry on accident, like if screwworms right now get up from Mexico, the beef industry in America fails. Like I'm going to tell you right now.
If what something screw voters?
Screwworms.
Yeah, screwworms get in from Mexico.
Screwworms.
Yeah, like the beef industry right now, where it's at, is not going to recover. Like in the next like 40 years, if they get here. So like when I'm sitting here looking at it, like this is a concern because we're at the lowest herd since like the 50s, and I'm sitting here going, it's because of all these other mitigating factors. All this money went into these other things, and people shifted to those. And then when they failed, this industry's already like a critical like junction point, right? And I don't know. It's very concerning to me when we start manipulating the ag market.
I'm sorry, but I'm a little confused what you mean by manipulating the
So like
the
okay, so they put a bunch of money into grain, right? Because grain has been weaponized economically by the United States, right? And
Sure.
but partially for that reason, but also it's used in all sorts of food, right? It's like easy to produce. We can mass produce it. People can be fed. And so when they did that, other supplemental ag industries that were relying on the land that was previously used, like to grow other things other than grain, are now growing grain. And so industries that relied on those industries are now suffering, right? Because it's like they're not growing those products anymore. And so, like you have industries dying off. You have like the beef industry, for example, is being hurt very badly by this. Like you have soy, soy was kind of hurt by this whenever they had the recent crisis in California and some other states. So like it's because these ag industries are like interconnected. So when you fund one of them, the others sometimes will take a major hit because there's no money going into that, or the product itself that was going into it's gone now because it makes more sense to grow something else because the government's funding it instead of letting the free market work on it.
I hear what you're saying. That there's
Unintended consequences.
like there could there's unintended consequences. So yeah, and that there could be more profitable places where they could put their money right within the farming industry, but because the subsidies are here, right, it's more profitable to work on
everyone go grain because the subsidies
grow grain, right, or corn, right? Corn is like the biggest example here, right? Yeah.
But I thought you were saying, Gibbs, that the meat industry was doing good. Well, like at least from your end, right?
Well, so right. Well, because up until this Argentina beef thing, which is they maybe throwing like some cold water on that, but like what's happened with the beef industry is those markets have died out now because they've adjusted finally after like 50 years. They've adjusted to some of these subsidies with corn and grain, and so grass-fed beef has like basically had two major advances. They've had more weight has been able to go on the cows, so smaller herds are being able to like keep up with the demand to some extent more than they were. And then they had another like a kind of big change with like some kind of chemical in the like whatever process. I don't know. Long story. So there's been two big like advances, right? And so they have kind of started to like come back. So we've slowed herd loss. Like this year it's gonna be 4%. Next year's projected to be 2%. The after that we're supposed to be 4% positive. So for the first time in like decades, right? And so it's like finally stopped, and now we're at a growth period based on what we have, based off like efficiency standards, like meat, like amount they weigh. And so now if we bring in Argentina beef, that's going to slow all that. It's going to throw all these numbers into like crazy projections, right? Which is why I'd be upset, which is why maybe the consumer, it would be good initially for a short-term game. It'll lower like beef costs, but it's going to hurt the long-term game and probably keep money like the beef costs higher over.
And we have to do the Argentina beef because we just gave them $40 billion.
Right. Yeah.
And
so
there's like some type of trade deal going on.
Yeah. And so now it's going to slow herd regrowth. So instead of 4%, 2%, we might get like 8% and like 4%, and then maybe we might break even the next year. So it's a 4-year thing, and I think that's going to hurt consumers in the long term. But we'll see. But like I said, that's kind of where they're interconnected. So when you the beef industry is finally recovering. I wouldn't say it's doing good. And then people go, oh, they're so rich. And I'm going to interview a guy Wednesday, and he's going to really go on this. He brought up this point earlier, right? So we usually don't use hay, which is let you barrel up the hay until after freeze. You go and do the hay bales after the freeze. Right now, we are doing hay on his ranch for about 60 head. They're going through about $2,500 a week. So it's about 11 to 13. No, that's 50. It's 16 bushels of hay because they're going about like $90 a bushel, right? And so they're going about $2,500 a week for 60 head of cattle, and like the margins aren't that high. So if you're expecting to grow the head of cattle, like you're having to put the money back in. So people are like, oh, the cattle bears, they're making all this money, but it's really like, bro, they're all the money they're making right now is they're finally able to put back in, and that's kind of like why I'm real hesitant.
Revenue rather than profit.
Yeah. It's why I'm real hesitant when they're like, oh, let's flood the market with the subsidies for more grain or more corn or whatever, soy, because then it's like, well, now all these other industries shift into that. And like these are like, yeah, there's money in beef, but there's maybe not money to grow the stuff to give the beef, and that keeps prices way high. Like that's why there's a lot of farming stuff that's integrated like that. Like manure, like if with the herds right now, they'd be lower. Manure is going up in price. That's raising price overall for farming, right? Because there's not as much manure being produced.
All your money in manure right now.
I mean, I'm like, and it's just so. Would you ever think about manure prices going up? No, but like it goes up by a quarter. Like on a bag of like 55 pounds of fucking cow shit. You start shipping this out like. That goes up. That adds up real fast when you start having these massive deals. Like, I don't know. Like, I think that's something people aren't like don't think about these secondary and third tier like reactions to like a market change when you put the money into food. And like food is such an interconnected like web that like I'm always fearful whenever we start like putting money into different things in it. You know, like, and I in theory I could benefit if suddenly you gave us a beef subsidy, right? But I would be hesitant because I'm sure down the road this is going to backfire. I'm going to get fucked by it somehow. You know,
So then, what I'm hearing or I'm understanding, but correct me if I'm wrong, like you don't want any subsidies at all.
I would prefer them not in food, unless it was like the industry's crashing. We got school rooms, and like it's going to be totally gone. Then time for the government to step in.
Okay, so then when in 10,
sure,
20
there are
years,
exceptions.
When lab grown meat starts overtaking
not the
actual meat, then you still be against.
Yeah, that's where the market's going, though, right? The market wants like lab grown. That's where the money goes, right?
No we'll have grown. We gotta get rid of that.
Well, but if the market demands it, and the market will demand it.
Nah, we got
market will demand it.
Absolutely. You're perfectly engineered meat. Okay, you cannot compete with that.
And then when we stop having the bio meat, the lab meat will go back to the price of bio meat, and it'll just be a whole fucking thing where I'm just paying the same price for fucking, the lab grown slop bullshit. Which is like
slop. You know how much crap is in your meat now? Like, it's still slop.
Bad.
Yeah,
it's
you know what? It's
antibiotics.
Like, that's not Corey. My issue is like that's not a good thing, right? Like it's not a good thing that there's so much shit. Like I've never understood fucking shipping out as much meat as we import. Just fucking let's just eat the meat we grow. Right, like keep it as natural as possible. Right, like I'm not a tyrant here. I'm not saying everything has to be full grown organic, but like just a lot, just as natural as possible. Right,
the earth,
like food just shouldn't be this expensive. We
throw
away so much food. We throw away so much food.
It's a huge problem.
And I've had this discussion because like people tell me I had this one of my first ever times like debating on the internet was like debating like people stealing from grocery stores, and like had people telling me that their margins at a grocery store was like 1% to 2%, which like sure I understand, but like then just price your shit cheaper, and overall people will buy out the things that you're at the end of the day throwing out. But like I don't know, it just doesn't work out. Instead, we get the argument that like no, eventually the market demands lab grown meat because it's so cheap, and it's like.
Not only is it probably going to be cheaper, it's
just 1 second. Thank you, Frozen Knight, for subbing for 44 months. Thank you for sticking around the channel for so long. Shout out to you, Frozen Knight. I got like a new setup that'll make it easier for me to keep track of the things that happen on both Twitch and YouTube at the same time. So when people resub, I'll be able to shout them out in a way I wasn't able to do so for a while now. So anyway, just thank you, Frozen Knight, for being so kind, supporting the channel for so long. Anyone else, continue to resub. We love your resubbers. Keeping the channel stable. So I appreciate everyone who does that. And remember, you can give super chats as well. We'll read your super chats, and it'll be fun. We'll react to it. And since we have less people today,
send in your manifestos today, right now.
Today would be actually the time to do it. Honestly, it would be. I was just about to say we have less people today. We had a lot of cancellations, unfortunately, which is why I don't think we're going to do the police thing that I planned.
Fair enough.
I want to hold that off until we have more individuals.
I have something more fun we could talk about.
It's okay. Then I will discuss that in a second. But yeah, it's an evergreen topic, so we're gonna hold off on that one. I was thinking we could talk about the Trump party and all that. But yeah, anyway, yes. So if you're on YouTube, youtube.com/PrimeKai, send in your super chat. We'll react to it, whatever you want to discuss. Now is actually the time because we have the most time to do that. But all right, sorry,
free from
you were saying it's going to be cheaper. Not only will it be cheaper, but
thank you for reminding me. It's probably going to taste better. Okay, and it's probably going to be since you can tweak every little nutrient. It's probably going to be potentially healthier for you. It's like. Again, this is about as engineered as you can get. You have way more control over lab grown meat than anything that GIBBS has on his farm. Okay, it's like
I understand that. I don't know. I think I don't have any data to back this up. I think there's something to be said about a natural diet.
There's a reason why people are eating Doritos nonstop. Okay.
Yeah, it's because they're addicted to Doritos because they tweak them to be to taste the way that they taste. Like normal cheese items do not taste like that, and that's not a good thing. That
American cheese is not cheese, or that
people are addicted to Doritos, or people are addicted to like McDonald's, and McDonald's can get their meat processed so fucking well that it's well, I mean, it used to be a dollar menu. It's not a dollar menu anymore, but that's kind of my point, is that now you go to Subway, and I mean, you get a foot long at Subway, you can't get away with it for less than like $12-15, right? You go to McDonald's nowadays, you get a meal, it's looking like $12-$15 for your meal nowadays, unless you're getting like a McDouble and a small fry, right? Unless you're getting the bare minimum at any place you order. And these were supposed to be our cheap, ultra processed, like we scientifically refine this alternatives, and they're no longer now they're no longer like the cheap
Subway tuna is not even tuna,
scientifically altered alternatives. They are the same price as, like, I can go get a regular burger at a regular burger spot for $10, $7 to $11, right, depending on the spot, and it's just not fast food, right? That's kind of my argument. Is it becomes the same price and it's just not as good quality.
So I can't attest to the quality of meat that Subway uses because I don't really know much about their style. All I hear about is that Subway is struggling. I mean,
just think fast food in general, right? That's kind of
but I think
the quality isn't going to be there.
Yeah, I don't know for sure. Like, would I? Well, obviously, I don't eat meat to begin with, but like,
fair.
I think Subway maybe uses 1% better quality meat than McDonald's, maybe. If I'm like speculating. But like that's where it's like for the processed meat, and this is with subsidies as far as I understand. Okay, it's like, again, at some point probably like lab grown meat is going to, like, restaurants like Subway and McDonald's, fast food restaurants that obviously consume and a lot of meat, particularly beef. It's like when lab grown meat gets either equivalent or cheaper and equally tasty, it's like it's a no brainer. Like,
they're gonna flock 100%. They're gonna have their own labs. McDonald's is probably investing in a lab right fucking now.
They're gonna have their own food engineers.
I don't know why you think this is a good thing. Like, I think that, like,
it's not a good thing. It's just that's what's going to happen.
Well, Ollie's bringing up a lot of points here. Like, okay, you said we can have the perfect meat every time. That's an argument. But I want to point to one thing that's going to disprove all of that, and it's called reality. Have we seen any company ever do that? If they make something that tastes that good, there's cocaine in it. Like, that's what I'm saying. They're putting some bullshit in this.
I don't know for sure, but I don't think Doritos have cocaine.
Or the equivalent. They're putting like polypeptide number 7632B in there.
Wait, don't read off the vial that you have on your desk there.
Listen, you just whatever they're putting in there, you just read it. It's got like a chemical name, 16 digits long, and you're like, yeah, it's probably not. It's probably a good thing. Yeah, of course, it's going to be a good thing. I don't want them putting that shit in their meat. And we know that it's not going to be, we made perfect, like, proteins. They're going to be like, how can we cut corners? And suddenly we're going to have a synth burger. And that's what we're going to be eating. And I don't want to be eating those synth burgers, bro. When have these companies, and when has government ever done the, like, optimum happy thing in the history of it? It's never once done that. All right, you should just go ahead and hope for the best and
you
realize
said companies too, though, right?
Companies. Companies. We want. I mean, companies. I think do a little better.
So you don't have an LLC there, GIBBS, right?
Listen, I'm just saying this is what's coming if we do that beef. Right, you're gonna do that. We do these, like, whatever bullshit. We're gonna be getting some, like, rat burgers. Basically, what's gonna happen. Except with
it worked in Demolition Man.
We literally have that now. I mean, like, look, I
don't know why y'all think it's gonna be better with that.
We got a super chat, and I'm gonna read that super chat in just 2 seconds. Like, so I don't really do this much anymore. Though I might start in the future because I've been thinking about it. But like I those corner stores, those like Asian run corner stores, right? Around my way, we always just call them Chinese stores. They're not necessarily Chinese people in there, right? I know the one next to me is like with Vietnamese people, but like we just call it the Chinese.
The Asian store.
The Asian store would be better, right? But like, they sell food and stuff, right? Like greasy food, like the meat they use, like, it's been known sometimes it ain't chicken, right? That's happened before. But also, right, KFC. KFC had gotten in trouble in the past, right? For using like pigeons or fucking rats or some shit, right? Like KFC has done that. So yeah, companies, capitalism, yes, they'll cut corners. Agreed. GIBBS, excuse me. But like, yeah, that's not an argument against.
I got one. Butterball was literally
it's an
fucking.
argument against capitalism.
Dude, hold on. Butterball was literally, the employees there were literally fucking their turkeys. And these guys, we want to trust these people to make lab grown meat pass.
Oh, what are you doing with your cows there, Gibbs? That's what I want to know.
I'm not fucking them, I'll tell you that.
Take your word for it.
We got Super Chat Alexander win $10. Says Soylent is expensive as fuck.
That is
and it's all
not
natural.
That's not a fair comparison. Soylent, from what I understand, is an entire like meal replacement, as in like you can more or less sustain yourself just by drinking Soylent alone. And also, Soylent is marketed like it's also vegan, or it's largely plant based. So it's like yes, that's a premium for sure. But and Soylent is not catering to, like, generally speaking, like mass market. It's pretty niche demographic.
Understand I don't even know what Soylent is. I only heard of Soylent Green.
So Soylent is a product that was, I think it was, if I remember correctly, it was largely crowdfunded. Okay, and it's gone through an evolution over time. But like people that were searching for a palatable meal replacement, as something you can just drink. You get your protein, your vitamins, your minerals, pretty much like a multivitamin in a drink, but like with obviously calories and protein and all that stuff, and fiber.
Is it a new thing?
No, this has been around for like over a decade. Yeah, I used to consume Soylent way back in the day, every once in a while.
So the name is actually a reference to the
yeah.
To the TV show. Okay,
it was, I believe, it was crowdfunded, and like that was like part of it. To like, yeah, we wanted to name it after Soylent Green.
Okay, all right. So I thought like maybe it was a pre-existing product that like the Twilight episode was referencing. Okay, thank you. Soylent is so sorry. What is the and I don't understand, Alexander. It's because I'm coming into this blind. So are you saying that like this is an example of a process, like a modern scientific food stuff that like is just going to be expensive and hard to get, and like it's unnatural, and so we should avoid it? Or like I don't know what your larger point is.
It's my argument. It's that like we get we're hearing that these are going to be so cheap, and it's going to be a cheap alternative, right? And like what ends up happening is this cheap alternative ends up getting people hooked to it, and then it's not the cheap alternative anymore. And then this is like what I've said about like Airbnb and Uber and all these like alternatives to hotels and taxis is originally Netflix. because they didn't have to pay back their original funders. Everything was fucking free on Airbnb for like the first 5 years. Uber was like $1 to get anywhere, right? But then when they had to pay back their funders, well, the prices started going up, right? Now Airbnbs and hotels are the same price. If not, Airbnbs are a bit more, right? Ubers are not cheaper than taxis now, right? I mean, like no one's going to use a taxi because the taxi service just barely doesn't really exist to like to the extent that it did. But like Ubers are the same prices as taxis. If not, they're a bit more expensive. It's just you're paying for that slight convenience of having the app.
So okay, I wanna address both of those things. Sorry, Airbnb and Uber in a second. I think Corey wanted to say something, so I'll wait till after he does that. But there's a second super chat that came in. Let me read that, and then we can go on. $5 from Alexander Wynn, who says, right, but you were talking about changing the nutrient profiles of the meat. I guess it's a Corey. So you brought it in, Corey.
Right, they can start putting all these crazy chemicals and vaccines in there.
I also, I guess I appreciate that. I think he's intentionally misspelling my name. Or they just, I'm pretty sure it's intentional.
Well, listen, I'm just waiting for the burgers that are causing autism. That's what I'm waiting for.
Respect to that. But no. Like, yes, Alexander is correct. I brought it up, but Soylent, from what I understand, it's like, it's specifically like whatever designed, or the intention is like to have a meal replacement as opposed to like meat. I don't think that's the end goal. Of like, yes, they're going to tweak some things, but the cost of that should be much cheaper than developing like your specific end goal as a meal replacement, as opposed to some sort of meat substitute that people just shovel in their mouths, equivalent to like what it is now. Like basically the bar is low. The bar is low in terms of like beef and beef quality. You range from like whatever McDonald's patty to whatever a steak. But if you're aiming for like McDonald's patty, like, but I think it's fair to, I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure more people consume like ground beef in the vein of McDonald's patties than like whatever steak. But I could be wrong with that.
Probably.
I don't track.
Because you want parts of the cow go into the hamburger patty?
Yeah, exactly. And so if the goal is to basically largely replace that, okay, the bar is low, as opposed to if you're trying to aim for something like Soylent, the bar is super much higher. And so I don't think it's an equivalency. But whatever, fair enough.
$5 from Alexander Wynn. Also, well, you can guys just have conversations like this with us with a super chat today, because again, we have a lot of time. So thank you, Alexander Wynn, for always being so kind. But anyway, also like what Sociologic Ali said, as soon as they can edge out some of the competition and make it more convenient,
That's probably
they
true.
will jack prices sky high.
I mean, this is the model of Netflix, Disney Plus, whatever, all your subscription.
So this is why, excuse me, I'm like super gassy, guys. I don't know. I've been burping the entire time. I do apologize for that, everyone.
That's why I had all those cancellations.
That's why I had cancellations. Yeah. But I do actually want to address this, right? And I want to sponsor our friend Ali about that, like specifically Airbnb and Uber. First of all, with Airbnb, and there could be a level of misinformation here on my part, because I haven't used Airbnb like that. I never thought it was like super worth it, whatever, for all kinds of reasons.
Big Airbnb guy over here.
Okay, great. So then maybe you can educate me, and I might have some wrong information here. But it seems to me that the big problem of Airbnb was less that like pressure, like from the company to raise prices. I'm sure there was some like base raising of prices that happened, right? But it seems like it was like the host, right? Because before it wasn't an industry, right? It really was a place where you could just go and like, you know, to a new city, like stay in someone's house, right? And they could give you like a more personalized touch, right? And like be like a concierge for you, like the product value seemed like really high previously, and for like a stupidly low price. But now it became an industry. Now you have like a conglomerates, right, buying a bunch of rental properties, and then charging you. Corey will be right back. Charging you high prices, and then making you like hitting you a whole list of extras, right? Like you got to like do your laundry or like reset the house and the whatnot, right? Because they can, because the market. So that seems a bit different than necessarily like company just like raising prices.
So it's not even that, because like there are still personal owners, like small time owners, who would like maybe own an apartment or two and they're using it for Airbnb. So like you can always price out the conglomerates that are just charging you extreme prices. What I'm saying is the charm of Airbnb was like, yeah, maybe you were paying like $50 a night versus $110 a night for a hotel, right? You're paying $50 a night because you were renting some person's apartment and their rent was low and whatever it was. And Airbnb wasn't charging them such a high rate at a certain point in time. But then now you get into like, if you get an Airbnb today, I think they're charging like 40 or 60% of like, so it's like their price, the Airbnb fee, like for rentals or for hosting your Airbnb, that price went up, or having cleaners or whatever it may be, that price all goes up, and it's due to the company needing.
But the Airbnb doesn't provide the cleaners. That's like the individuals, unless I'm wrong, right? They don't provide cleaners.
I think that.
No, they don't provide cleaners. I'm sorry. I'm just saying the price of hosting your. The price of hosting your apartment on Airbnb goes up because they have they have shit to pay off now too. Kind of in the same way where like Uber's in the beginning, Uber, like the drivers were making a lot more of the money. And then as you go on and go forward, the drivers start making less and less of the money. And it's because like originally these guys aren't paying back their investors, right? Their first couple of years, they're kind of working on their loan. And then eventually their loans, it's time to pay up for their loans. So now they got to start making their ROI.
The only thing I'll say on Uber, then everyone else please jump in, right? Like with Uber specifically, is I think that's a better example of what you're saying. And because yes, they did have to start like paying their investors, and of course like interest rates had gone up, right? There was a point where interest rates were low, we had just like cheap money, and people were just borrowing against that. And now that's changed. So like the flow of cheap money has stopped, and so like venture capitalists are or thinking a lot harder about what they invest in, except when the AI bubble happened and then they forgot again. Whatever. Sorry. Whatever. I'm getting distracted. But in any case, the point is that yes, there's no cheap money for Uber, and so prices went up. I guess my response to that is that you talking about the taxi services. Actually, I mean, you can't actually do the taxi services. Taxis have like done a job, like a good job to like catch up. Yes, they should have had an app beforehand. Uber shouldn't have beaten them to it, but they did, right? But now they're taxi apps, right? And taxis really want your business, right? Now that there's competition in the marketplace, right? They will give you like a great service where they wouldn't before. I remember before I started using Uber, right? Like there was I was like trying to use taxis, and it was like different places I was trying to go around the city. And like they like specifically would go out of their way to like make sure that like they got to me, even if it took a while sometimes, which was the problem. But like they got to me because like I was like a regular customer. They really wanted to keep me as a regular customer. So it was a good reason to come back, right? So like look for like this, like I think it's called the Yellow Cab app or something in your city, right? Yeah, grab that. And there are other apps as well. And you can get a taxi service. And a lot of them, they want your business. And hey, they'll even take black people. They'll even drive black people because it turns out when there's a competition they have to deal with, all of a sudden, they want black people's money when they didn't want it before. So,
Wait, have you ran the experiment, Prime, of like you and whiteface and then you with your regulars?
Well, I mean, I told you about that that one point. This was in Japan, about what happened there, right? I gave you that story.
Yes.
Yeah.
That doesn't surprise
So
me.
yeah, I actually did run that experiment. They wouldn't stop for a black person. They wouldn't stop for a white person. So.
I want to add one thing to the Ali's thing, right? So Ali brought up some points, but I think Ali brought up earlier with the chemical stuff, right? I just know that
you're like downing chemicals like right now. Like
hold on. You say
you love chemicals.
You say this, right? But yeah, until we see
you're a human biochemistry experiment.
Yeah, except I'm also, I mean, I guess, but I'm at the same time, I'm not sitting here going, I don't want my beef to turn around and give me fucking I don't know, mad cow disease or small, like some kind of other bullshit.
Actual
like,
cows will give you that.
Yeah, except, they don't give me that, right? Because we like watch out for that shit. We've gotten rid of them when they do. Except with the lab grown beef, y'all gonna sit here one day, we're gonna all of a sudden it's gonna be like Tylenol. Everybody thought Tylenol was safe, now it gives people autism.
I'm not gonna
I'm just saying, how often do we hear like a company go, oh, okay, this is 98.7% pure or some shit, and we find out the 3% is some bullshit like arsenic they're putting in. We find all this all the time. Like, but it's trace amounts, and it won't matter unless you eat 10 burgers a day. And then some people do eat 10 burgers a day and then die of arsenic poisoning.
I hear you. Look, I'm like a bit skeptical. I'm a skeptic right now, in terms of lab grown meat, right? Like I think it has to prove itself before it goes into my body, certainly, right? Or if I had children before it went to their body, right? I'd be like, no, give me give me GIBBS's meat instead. But like,
I said for 20 years. And then after they got everybody, now we're putting phosphates or some crazy bullshit in there.
Well, I mean, that's always possible in capitalism in general. So that's the part I push aside. But just like, hey, like the thing that I'm afraid of, like, man, what if this thing has like fucking prions in it? like I don't know. So I think it has to absolutely prove itself first, right? Through like a track record, before we necessarily go all in on it, right? That doesn't mean though we can't like put money to invest in the industry, right? That maybe America can corner the lab grown beef market before anyone else does.
Nah.
That we can do.
Nah.
I do want to sort of touch upon what Ali brought with the Uber and all that stuff. Where like I take the point that like obviously prices have gone up with Uber. But I don't know for sure that I don't know that the comparison with taxis is exactly the same. Because I think as Prime pointed out, like taxis have had to do some catch up, so to speak, since they sort of had like a, let's say, monopoly on the market. Where, in my opinion, I could be wrong, but like with my limited experience with Uber, like the value proposition is like much better. Like I remember taxis back in the day. Like I used to use taxis somewhat, right? Like you had to call them up with the dispatcher and all that stuff. And sometimes, they wouldn't, depending on where you are, they wouldn't find you, whatnot, as opposed to like now with the app, it's like I think the value proposition is like just much greater. And
Yeah.
no surprises, like yes, taxis, to Prime's point, exactly, like they've had to catch up. It's like, oh, we actually have to like improve our service and actually like yeah. So the value, and I think the same thing holds true. I've never used an Airbnb, but like, and I have sort of like mixed feelings about them. But I think just the value proposition of Airbnbs is like, I think a little bit different than a hotel. Of like, you literally pick in terms of location, you have potentially a whole house at your disposal, and so like let's say it makes sense that either it's price equivalent or like I would say potentially price equalize. An Airbnb is potentially better because you have like.
I understand why the price is. I'm saying that like the idea is it gets pushed off as this like cheap alternative, and then eventually it's not the cheap alternative anymore. I'm not saying it's like one-to-one comparable with like fake meat. I'm saying with the like synthetic meat, whatever you want to call it, the lab grown meat. It sounds like, oh hey, look at this cheap alternative, and we're gonna be able to feed everyone, but that's not the goal of these companies. The goal of these companies is to be able
I
to
don't disagree.
make as much money as possible from the product that they're selling. And so like what's going to happen is they're going to start pushing the fake meat more and more and more. Maybe McDonald's starts having it, and but this is how we introduce it to people. But then like all that's going to do is make the price of natural meat get higher, right? Because it's going to be more of a rarity, because it's going to be harder to produce. It's going to be harder to get on shelves. The shelf life isn't as long, so on and so forth. People are going to transition into this lab grown meat. But then like, maybe not in my lifetime, but 20 years, 30 years down the line, they're like, hey, listen, I mean, you guys already eat lab grown
20 years, 30 years.
Well, I mean, not enough for me, not enough for it to really like affect me, but like eventually they go, hey, listen, you guys are already eating the lab meat, right? I mean, what's really the difference between lab meat and nutrient loaf, right? Like we could just make nutrient loaf. You guys can just eat this gelatinous substance, right? Maybe that's what the food stamp recipients should be eating, right? Is Nutriloaf.
Yeah.
You can get the cockroach bricks from what was it, Snowpiercer, right? Like
but like that's what I'm saying is like it isn't really too many steps if people are willing to eat the lab grown meat, because, or not even willing, they kind of resort to having to, because it is the cheaper alternative, right? It is kind of exactly like meat, right? It tastes the same, it is already there. Well, then, all right, cool. We're going to need a cheaper alternative after that, right? And the cheaper alternative after that is like gelatinous nutrient loaf. And so like we're already at the point where we don't want SNAP recipients to drink pop, right? We're like, we should ban pop and they should only get rice and beans, right? This is like the
lactoid position,
but I mean that's a pretty common position, right? Especially on the right, especially like right now, food stamp recipients are like not getting their they had their benefits cut. The right's kind of cheering about it. I don't see anybody really being too sad, right? And so like that is kind of like the next step is like, well, we're going to need a cheaper alternative to this lab grown meat that's one-to-one as steak. So, hey, here's Nutriloaf.
Yeah, so I think it's a valid concern. I'm just curious, okay, given where you're at now, Ali, like, okay, in 10, 20 years, when you walk into the grocery store or any grocery store, okay, it's only lab grown meat, but then you have the plant-based meat. Which one are you choosing? Those are your only two options: the lab-grown meat or the plant-based meat.
Like, unfortunately, I'd probably go plant-based, but that has
Good.
its own problems.
You should do that now, then.
Right?
Anyways,
why? Just because that's the better alternative. You're a vegan, right? Vegan or vegetarian?
Technically vegetarian, but imperfect vegan.
If you could be a vegan in a perfect world where your body allowed you to be a vegan.
Yeah. Well,
you don't think there's something to be said like your body doesn't let you be vegan?
No, it does. Like, okay, the only thing that really stops me from being fully vegan is like I consume whey protein, okay, which is derived from dairy, okay, and as of now, whey protein is cheaper than your vegan, proteins.
Yeah.
Aside from that, like I consume plant-based meat alternatives. Okay, Beyond Meat, great. I've actually invested in that company. Okay, even though
you're one of those people that are ripped doing it, so that's the issue. There isn't really an argument to you.
Yeah.
You and vegan gains are boys.
Oh, I'm a little bit less hostile and hopefully a little bit less problematic than vegan gains.
Yeah, dogs are allowed to eat meat, right? Like dog food, right?
I have a little bit less issue with that.
Okay, less issue. No issue, but yeah, okay. I'll take less issue.
So sorry, GIBBS, are you talking to us or are you talking to your chat? Yeah, well, we can't.
There you go.
Oh yeah, that was like calling. So I tried to be wait, what are dogs supposed
Are
to
you
eat?
sure you're using the right? I don't know.
If
That
they're not
doesn't
supposed
sound.
to eat meat.
Go ahead, Gib.
What are they eating if they're not eating meat? The dogs.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I can design, but they're design a canine vegan diet. Okay, but there are people that feed their cats and pets
Vegan
vegan
Gains
diet.
does, yeah. Vegan Gains
exactly.
did. I don't even know how you do that. I don't.
What that consists of, I couldn't say offhand, so I'm not going to pretend to say that. But
Why
That's
do that to
animal.
our
That's
furry
animal
friends?
abuse. That's animal
Exactly.
abuse.
We should take away their pets. But okay, so I wanted to like refocus.
take away their pets and eat them.
Take away their pets and eat them, and that would be better. But so I kind of want to refocus back on what the banner says, talking about the Trump party, right? Like, so Trump, in case you don't know, viewers at home, Trump decided to throw a lavish party. I believe this is Friday, maybe Saturday. I'm not really sure when. Where no, I think it was October 31st. And it was like hours before like November 1st happened, and like people are gonna lose their SNAP benefits, which was an interesting choice, right? I thought it was a lavish party for the elite. I think at the White House or somewhere around there. I'm not exactly sure where. That people are drawing a lot of like symbolism and parallels from that. It seems that Trump, through his actions, not just this, like seems to not give a fuck about ordinary individuals, right? It seems to have a focus on taking care of and taking care of himself. I mean, not just this, but also like, hey, while this government shutdown is happening, Trump says specifically, like in a Truth Social post or something, that like the ballroom is his focus, right? That's my focus right now. As we're going through a shutdown, and then next he posts pictures of the Lincoln bathroom getting redone, all in marble, and pretending. Well, this
all
is
Marvel posters.
all marble. Yeah, that I would have loved that actually.
Then you'd endorse him.
Dope. Then that would have done. Like these like extravagant displays of wealth in like a time of need by his constituents, right? It's not just all Democrats who get affected by the lack of food stamps. A lot of Republicans, a lot of his voters are being affected by this now, and other parts of like the government being shut down as well. And in this moment, right, he's like literally throwing it in your face. Like, we got money, we want to have a good ass time, right? Good luck to the poors.
Oh, well, I mean, I think, at least in my mind, that's in line with most conservatives. It's like, it's like the religious conservatives that donate, all of their money to like, whatever, their pastor or whatever, the religious figure that they worship. And it's like, yeah, they want the people that they worship, either literally or figuratively, to live lavish lifestyles. And so even if it comes at the cost of them, there's also the aspect of, they might be too prideful to actually maybe admit that they made a mistake, or they regret that their vote. But like, yeah, all this tracks, at least in my mind, in terms of like, because I'm they're absolutely, from what I can tell, there are religious conservatives that like they view Trump as like, appointed by God. So it makes sense that he should have all the resources and wealth in there.
Yeah, I thought the party, it never surprised me that people with money have the gaudiest taste, right? It looked very basic. And then when you see the people that were there, it's for the conservative movement, it really did seem like just a bunch of OnlyFans girls that were hanging around like with the the plastic surgery and the duck lips and the so on and so forth. And then the contradictions, right, of like Riley Gaines taking a picture with Caitlyn Jenner. And it's like having the conversation of like, well, you're supposed to be like anti-trans movement. What Caitlyn Jenner being there is kind of weird. What bathroom does Caitlyn Jenner use if she has to go to the bathroom at the MAGA rally? And then the ballroom thing. I think the ballroom is, listen, man, it was Trump's way of making a statue that isn't a statue, right? He the size of that fucking thing is just an eyesore. One, two, listen, man, it doesn't look good. It's bigger than the fucking White House, according to the blueprints, whatever it may be. But then also, like, I don't care for these people to have like a ballroom to party in, right? Like, I don't care for that to be a project where like politicians can get together, because like, here's the thing, Gibbs, it's not just going to be Trump and MAGA that's in the White House forever, right? Eventually Democrats and, you know, liberals are going to be using this ballroom, and I just don't, it's not fucking worth it for me for these people to have, like, go rent out like some type of some other ballroom, some other state, whatever it may be, probably get a great deal because you're the fucking president, right? I don't know. It just seems like a waste. I know it's supposed to be private investors, right? It's supposed to be private investors for the ballroom, right? So I can't really sit here and say taxpayer money as much as I want to. It just if anything, put it in the back, put it behind the White House. I just think it looks really weird in terms of placement, but I don't know. It's just not necessary. Go ahead, Gibbs.
I think you're muted.
You're
Gibbs.
muted, bud.
Oh, so since it's private investors, that helps, right? Yeah.
Not if it comes with, like, we don't know why.
Well,
like,
hold on,
but
it's private investors though, right now. We're
That's what
that's good, right? Did you have a problem with, I don't know, they tore down parts of the White House and built a basketball court with taxpayer dollars?
No, they didn't. Did they really?
Yeah, they did under Obama.
Wait, did Obama did it?
Yeah, Obama did it. So I just
a massive what? Sorry, could you
they tore down a part of the White House and they built a basketball court. All right, so like whenever I can hear this now,
half-court basketball court. I think I saw that.
Yeah, so whenever I hear this now, and it's like, at least, like, you know, you actually made the argument for me. It's not going to be just Republicans using it. It's going to be used in perpetuity. Like, one, it's safer. I think that, like, as we get more further into the future, I think that it's going to, like safety for our politicians is going to become more and more, like, paramount, especially foreign dignitaries. I think this asymmetrical warfare is going to be kind of scary, especially like the hybrid warfare where they use like drones and shit. I think that we will need to put them on like in a secure location, you know, especially when they're schmoozing in parties. I think that just is a natural target for terrorists and foreign powers. You know, I don't have a problem with this. We are the world's like strongest country. We should have some gaudy shit where we can be like, hey, we're better than you, and we know it. We're goddamn America. And like, you know, I don't know. I'm not a problem with, you know, the Saudis do it. No one has a problem with the Saudis do it. Like, wow, this is crazy. Everything's
you want to emulate the Saudis.
I mean,
like,
I don't like the Saudis.
Sure, I don't like them either. But like, hey, you might say, hey,
but it might as well be like
cool.
them.
Yeah, I mean, the Dubai's cool.
When you say Gaudi, you mean John Gaudi or the
Dubai's got a lot of cool shit. Hong Kong's cool. They got a lot of rich, over the top shit. Singapore, same thing. Like, you know, I don't have a problem with maybe
a city that's over the top. It's not like the ballroom.
Hold on, it's like we got one fancy ballroom in the White House that's being paid for without with taxpayers' dollars. Like, if this is what we're crying on a hill about, you know, oh no, the private companies are paying for the U.S. military too.
I'm not crying. I just don't like.
Maybe the Dems should stop sending their money overseas and like just give the shutdown over. If they'd stop sending their money over to bullshit. And fucking
it's less of a cry and more of an ick. It's less of a cry and more of an ick.
They would have sent my money away from America. That's what
it's not something I'm going to lose sleep over. I'm stupid.
You're losing sleep over the ballroom. Well, I'm losing money being sent to other countries.
And is the ballroom like bomb proof or something?
1 second, hold on. Before we even do that, wait a second. Just one Google search. Fact check. Photo does not show White House demolition to make way for Obama's indoor basketball court. The pictures from FDR's project, and the court is outside. Right, so like the basketball court was what I thought it was.
It's made
was
by
an outside court. There was no demolition needed.
What was it built by taxpayer dollars?
No,
basketball court's like 10 grand, but no one's tripping on 10 G's.
Sure, I'm just saying. We've torn down and built other parts of the White House several times. This is like not unprecedented.
Misinformation here, right? Like, so like there was no level of destruction to the White House. Like this was just expanding a tennis court area and putting some hoops up there, right? So that didn't happen. And no one is saying you can't use White House money for U.S. government money for like maintenance and improvements to the White House. That's the way it's always been done previously, and that's not a problem, right? This expansion one, Trump lied. Like specifically, he said the White House superstructure would not be touched. That's what he said, and then turns out it was touched, demolishing it. Right? He didn't go through the proper process. There is a historical it's called like a historical conservation like committee or whatever, right? That like
Yeah,
goes through a
God.
process to make sure that we're handling this in the way necessary, right? So we're not destroying things that shouldn't be destroyed, right? Beyond that, there's also just like like OSHA regulations or whatever. Maybe I think it falls under OSHA.
Oh no, not OSHA.
But it might be OSHA, it might not be. But the point is that like for asbestos, right? Like during the time where that wing of the White House was built was the height of when we were using asbestos. Asbestos. There was no precautions taken. There was no abatement taken. Trump just demolished it, and Trump actually has a long history, a long specific history about how he hates asbestos abatement. Right? He's been fined specifically for not doing it in the past. This guy like just like doesn't care about that, and like it says why should and I think he doesn't. He even wants to use asbestos. It's like why don't we stop using this thing, right? Asbestos, in case you don't know, gives you fucking lung cancer. Yeah, there's lots of reasons to be against Trump's expansion of the White House. I was actually for the ballroom initially. I actually was like, oh okay, like you're gonna make a separate expansion of on the White House grounds. You're gonna build a big ballroom. I'm like, well, yeah, that seems good, like for dignitaries and all of that. Like, sure, or why not, right? He demolishes a massive piece of the White House, lies to the American people multiple times, right? For this piece, just for a monument to himself. No, fuck that.
Yeah, now it's gonna be bigger, nicer, better, and not paid
I
for
think
by next
if a Democrat wins the next election, they should just demolish it right away.
Why? Why would they demolish something that they're going to use?
With
They
our
don't-
tax
well, wait,
dollars.
they've not used the ballroom before it existed previously. So yes, they don't have to use
There are
it.
plenty of ballrooms in DC. DC is not lacking in ballrooms.
No, but now there's a
um,
White House ballroom. That's badass.
I thought the project in and of itself wasn't a bad idea. I'm like, oh, like why are people getting too upset about it? Like I don't know about like necessarily his interior design, but still like the thought of itself. Okay, like yeah, we could use a ballroom on White House grounds. That might be make it easier for Secret Service, right, to secure the president, right? If you don't have to go out to go to those other ballrooms, it would make things easier. That's fine. But he lied about it. And he's specific, and who knows if he's lying about the funding, right? We'll see that. And even the funding itself is a problem, right? Because this is another of these patronage schemes where people are funneling money to the leader, the dear leader's priorities, right? For favors. That's what they're all doing. That's what they're all doing. For Trump. And so I don't like its corrosive effect on democracy. Like I'm happy to pay for it if this is a thing that the White House needs and the public approves.
I'm excited for UFC at the White House. I think it's gonna be like your chat said.
Oh, that too, man. That wasn't.
This is exciting times, bros. Can you imagine?
We're like literally at Idiocracy.
Bro,
We're literally there.
I'm so excited for the cage in front of the White House. America versus the world.
Okay, so wait. So GIBBS, can the president essentially just do whatever they want at the White House? Is that permissible to you?
I mean, I don't know what's wrong with the UFC at the White House.
No, I'm asking you like what where your line is. Let's say if the next woke Democrat president comes to play and they host a drag show, that's okay. That's permissible for you. Right?
I mean, I think that that'd probably be fine if they put like they're the drag RuPaul's drag race at the White House. I mean, sure. I mean, I would probably not be watching it, but I wouldn't.
Yeah, but you think that's okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like anything else. Why shouldn't they use it for a big event if they want to use it?
I don't disagree that with your principle. It's just like, but I think most conservatives, okay, especially religious conservatives, will say, will
they're gonna
heavily push back.
Sure, they're gonna bitch. I mean, I'm not arguing that some conservatives won't bitch, but like, am I gonna bitch? No, I'll be like,
What if what if the Muslims want to gather during Eid and pray during both their Eids?
They can't. They're not allowed.
Oh man.
But
are you guys protecting Valentina Gomez? Or are you guys protecting her at all costs? People need to keep an eye out for that lady, bro.
Valentina Gomez, bro.
I don't know who she is. Is she like
She's running for
crazy-
congresswoman in Texas. She's
Sorry.
the
Oh,
one who
she's like
says
super
Muslims,
Islamophobic or something?
Muslims
Yeah,
are
she's
worse
pretty
than dogs
unhinged.
over Muslims, so on and so forth. That crazy
disgusting.
bitch.
Yeah. I think I've seen that. But no, in terms of just quickly with this UFC thing, I
Based.
have I used to be a person who cared about the dignity of the office. No, I don't care anymore, right? Shout out to President Trump for debasing the office, and so we don't have to deal with that anymore, right? Yeah, the office is filled with a man.
I think Clinton and JFK debased that office plenty. You know what I mean?
Certainly they did, right? And Trump put it through the fucking basement, right? Put it through the sub basement. We should get rid of this worship of state actors, right? Don't worship your governor, don't worship your mayor, don't worship your president. They're
I
just
don't worship
people.
anybody. Would be my stance, but
Fair. Yes, fair. Well, me, you can. I'll allow it. But yeah, you like. I like this idea of having contempt for the office. I'm fine with that. Republicans, I don't think they'd be fine with this. I'm not talking to Gibbs. But I think a lot of Republicans wouldn't like that. But I'm fine with people having a complete and utter contempt for the office, right? And so, if you want to have a UFC fight there, that's fine, right? Okay, whatever. I don't know. Fuck it, do whatever, right? On the White House lawn. It's not like it's anyone special in there. It's not someone else who pisses and shits just like the rest of us. But my only issue is the thing that our friend Ali was moving towards there, right? What is and isn't allowed, right? If Obama had done the exact same fucking thing, right? Literally the exact same thing. I had a fighting match, wrestling match, right? Oh my God, the hit pieces from Fox News endless, right? How he's degraded the presidency. Hey, there was that one time he saluted the troops, right? Two officers with a coffee cup, a Starbucks coffee cup in his hand, right? And they bitched him for weeks and weeks at a time. How could he? How could he? That's the presidency, right?
don't forget the tan suit. The tan suit.
And the tan suit. It's disgusting. And so, I just want a little consistency here. Sure, Trump can do have his UFC bout, right? And I support it. Go ahead, right? But don't. But I guarantee the moment a Democratic president comes in, all of a sudden, we'll have the Fox News and conservative media will all of a sudden find respect for the office. It's very important again.
I don't know, but hold on. When you say this about sports, though, I feel like all the presidents have been attached to sports. They go to the football events, they go to baseball events.
Not on the lawn of the White House. Come on.
Sure, I not on the lawn, but when you think America, right? The general perception worldwide is we're maybe the cowboy, and I don't mean it little the cowboy, but the mentality, sort of over the top. You have the sporting events, the red, white, and the blue, and the fireworks, and you have a little bit of flamboyance and some crazy shit and some pageantry. You have the American boxer coming out with the red, white, and blue sparkly stuff. You got the Apollo Creeds. You have I don't know that I have a problem with any president like them, conservative, Republican, whatever, having an event that's an American. Hey, we have all America. We have an American thing. Let's get some patriotism. Let's have a sporting
Literal gladiators on the front lawn.
Okay, yeah, sure. UFC's an American company that's grown up. I mean, I guess it's not totally American now, but it's also with one of it's our allies, partially owned. But there's a lot of American fighters. We take pride in American fighting spirit. We can go out there. It'll bond. A lot of people fight. People
I want Khabib to fight.
Yeah, I mean, okay.
Want him to Bismillah on the front lawn.
You're talking about what's allowed, but this is something every ethnicity can bond with. Hispanic people fighting.
Right there in the fucking.
You got Muslim individuals love fighting. American, good old boys. Everybody can bond over a good fight, right? And I think that it's something that's good. I mean, shit, I'd be open to having NASCAR on the front line. I mean, I don't know how that would work, or maybe baseball or basketball. Cool. How cool would it be to have LeBron James, the All-Star team, versus somebody else on the national
Obama
lawn,
basketball court.
on the Obama court? That'd be badass. Why aren't we doing this already? Is the better question.
I mean, we've demolished half the White House to put that court there.
I think we should build a stadium. Honestly, we should build an amphitheater. It could be World Leader Stadium or some shit. I don't know. It'd be cool.
Start having concerts at the White House.
How badass? Oh yeah, what you got going on, Putin? The Kremlin? Oh, that's cool. we just had fucking
So
LeBron James
you were
play
cool
against
with
the Supersonics
you were
athlete.
cool with Trump's granddaughter using the White House to take a photo shoot for her merch line and sell
Okay, why
merch.
not?
Like that's cool. Like we can just
Let's go for it.
So I appreciate that you're different,
Yeah.
Gibbs, right? And this is why I wasn't trying to put like words in my mouth or like say that you were part of those outrages previously. You're all about yourself, right? And like self-aggrandizement, all that, right? And so Trump doing that, I get why you would be supportive of that. And again, like I
Everybody
said,
should be
like
doing it.
I don't think so. But I think that at least for me, and I won't speak for other people, right? Like, I think this idea that this is dignity of the office of presidency. Well, these presidents have gotten us into many violent wars, sent young men to die for no fucking reason, right? Have exported misery to foreign countries all around the world, right? Have made the world like a much worse place as they walked out. What dignity is there in that, right? So no, I don't buy into, excuse me, the pomp and circumstance around the goddamn presidency. I don't give a fuck about any of that, right? And so if you want to debase it, right? Like bring it down, make it more of the common man type of the ground, right? Like then good, right? That's a worthwhile political project. I thank Trump for it. But I just want that same energy when a Democrat gets in office. And I suspect
I want all the pride
you know,
events on the White House lawn.
I want all the pride of it. I want
You'd be
all
okay
of
with
it,
that, Gibbs, right?
Yeah,
I
we
want
can get
the
some
minute-
glitter cannons, and it can be the
Yeah.
biggest private war. Listen, I'm talking about wild, like they think it's apocalypse level fireworks coming out of the White House lawn. Like how badass, bro, would this be if we were doing this shit? Like
you remember how conservatives
That's
were
some
mad
pride.
about the gay men and like the doggy mask and all that, right? You remember that with the kids around? Well, there'll be no kids on the White House lawn, right? Let's have the doggy mask guys,
Yeah, as
right?
long as the kids
Like
are not
on
there.
Let's do it all.
Biggest orgy in
right?
history, White House lawn.
Let's do it. Oh, I mean, if I'm invited, then yeah. But so like, as long as we have consistency, that's all I ask. That's all I ask. But I'm telling you, conservatives, and I won't put this on you, Gibbs, but I think conservatives won't provide that.
Absolutely not. Absolutely, religious conservatives will not stand for an orgy, the biggest orgy in the White House. Absolutely not.
Well, they gotta get with the signs, I
Tino.
guess.
Yeah. We got a super chat from our friend Echo Rich, $5. It says, now President AOC can invite Bad Bunny to perform in the new ballroom gala for trans athletes with profits benefiting the new state of Palestine. Boy. Yeah, boy. Thank you, Ika Rich, for the kind $5. It's really sweet of you. Thank you so much for the support. Anyone else can super chat as well. For the channel. Someone we're hearing like clicking or something. I don't know what you guys are doing.
Definitely not me.
It's Gibbs. It's 100% Gibbs. But yeah, thank you for that. But no, this is what I'm saying. Yeah, like AOC should be able to do these types of things, right? Like short of a terrorist rally, right? An actual fact, like the terrorist anti-American. Short of that, why not? Why not? Right? Like
I will agree with this only under the circumstance that the trans athletes actually have to physically deliver the money to the new state of Palestine.
Okay, fair enough. I'm
Fair
for it,
rebuttal.
right? I love the idea.
Wait, Gibbs, how are you for Bad Bunny and Super Bowl? You're good with that?
Hell yeah, bro.
Yeah.
Have time with the
I just want to make sure because the other conservatives are losing their mind. I'm like, bro, you don't have a Latina in your life to show you the way that Bad Bunny. Mm-hmm. You know, if you had a Latina next to you, you'd feel differently.
That's what I'm saying. They don't know.
Yeah. So in terms of but this party, right? So I just stated what I said about like, you know, debasing the office of the presidency being a good political project. And I do mean that, right? However, right, it doesn't mean that any political signal being sent from the office is necessarily a good idea. And I think in this moment, having this party like at this time, like literally when people are about to lose access to food stamps, and families are going to go hungry. Kids are going to go hungry, right? Having this party at this point in time, I think, shows a level of callousness, a deep callousness, that is not surprising or shocking to me from Trump, but I think just for his own political benefit, sends an awful signal that shows that reinforces Americans' mind that like the ruling class like does not care about you and has like antipathy towards you. I think.
I don't disagree, but yeah, at least to me, that was fairly evident a while ago. I'm not even sure. Like, I'm curious. Obviously, it remains to be seen how long this shutdown is going to last. But assuming it lasts up until American Thanksgiving, I'm curious how that's going to play out with if SNAP benefits are still not there. Like, will that be sort of like the breaking point, or will that really sway things?
So I think that's interesting. Yeah, like well, I haven't thought about Thanksgiving yet because I hope it doesn't last that long. I hope this is in the rearview mirror by that time. But like assuming it doesn't, I think again this is why this party is doubly bad because you're giving people a visual story, a narrative to create, right? We all know pictures are worth a thousand words, especially in this day of the internet where these pictures circulate like nobody's business, right? Where they become memeified and they can be kept alive beyond whatever happens of the mainstream news cycle, right? At this moment, do you want to give a picture of literally a literal Great Gatsby theme party, right? In this moment of scarcity and pain by the public, right? Like, think about the backlash. And Trump really doesn't have to worry about this, but other Republicans have to worry about this for the future, right? For coming on to next year. This is the image you want to hold on to. This is the thing you want to give Democrats to run against you on. Is this a good idea?
I mean, I don't know. The MAGA's been pretty fucking good with their PR because I don't think anyone's talking. I didn't even really know about the party until you brought it up. Everyone's kind of talking about JD Vance and putting on a wig and acting out the meme, and fucking Ted Cruz. Everyone's making fun of Ted Cruz for the 6'7" shirt. It's like, yeah, they're not really. No one's really focused in on this like party, right? I don't think anyone sees the exuberance of the party
And it's like
as
a party
much,
they pay for.
and maybe they should.
It's not like they use taxpayer dollars.
That's going to be the argument, yeah.
Yeah, like they're gonna be like, "Why do you care if we pay for it?"
Like Prime, you got to understand. I heard. I don't even know if it's true that the Trump family doubled their fucking income, their net worth due to their that Trump coin, right? I don't know. Once again, I don't really try to
that
follow.
Sounds
but
about right. I mean, they've
MAGA
used it as a massive money laundering scheme. Yeah,
MAGA on like. The win for them is the fact that they have the presidency, that the Dems can't really do shit, that like it is an own on the libs, right? And like right now, like they don't see it as a detriment to themselves, which is strange, right? Once again, a lot of MAGA feels like they're getting what they want. And I know that the approval ratings are going down in like the general populace. I'm saying for like the movement itself, right? The infighting is like it's coming from like the top figureheads. From the bottom down, no one really seems to care. Everyone seems to kind of support it.
I don't know about that with manga. I think I disagree. I think that mostly that's been true, right? And I think it can be true in the future. But I think this year MAGA has taken a lot of hits, right? Not least of which was the Epstein scandal, which the ongoing Epstein scandal.
Man, they're flying right past that.
I think they're slowly moving on from that. Gibbs has moved on for that.
They're flying past it. They're not slowly moving on. They don't care about the Epstein file, bro.
No, that's not true. That's not true.
Is.
There's a large constituency, especially when we're talking about young Republicans. Maybe the older ones don't care as much, right? But young Republicans have been talking about. I've seen video after video of young Republicans bringing it up themselves.
Unfortunately, yeah, you were right. Unfortunately, I'm sorry, the Charlie Kirk thing. That's where all the young Republicans were in support. They were in support of Charlie Kirk, and the Charlie Kirk that put that to a fucking bay, where it's like, hey, look what the liberals are willing to do to silence your voice, right? The Epstein file means nothing now. Right now, and like I mean, like right now, maybe a month ago, however long ago he passed. But right now, after the Charlie Kirk that thing, MAGA's yeah.
I'm not saying there's not other like that's necessarily strictly the focus. I'm saying I'm talking about like the collective hits MAGA has taken, right?
Yep.
For those who care, and I don't think I think a portion of MAGA actually meant it when they said that they were isolationists, right? And they wanted to get out of these forever wars. One, we're still in Ukraine, right? Trump said he was going to solve it day one. He was going to solve the Russian Ukraine situation day one. Okay, well, month 9, we haven't managed that, or sorry, month 11 or whatever. We haven't managed that. And like anti-war Trump is threatening wars on 2 fronts now, on Venezuela and Nigeria, fucking randomly. Trump, I think people, like I think people have watched like the crypto schemes, right? And they dislike it. They understand like the rug pulls that happen, like especially with the Melania coin. Now I'm not saying all of MAGA cares about all of these things. I'm saying that all of this is slowly, and then the terrorists and the rising prices. That's like even the far more important. But all these things have been chipping away at his support, right? In ways I don't think we've seen previously. Now, is that support gone and never coming back? I can't say that much, right? They're part of a cult, after all. But I think we have never seen a storm like this. As we've seen like in the first term of his presidency. I think this is new. I could be wrong though, and I could
sounds like a lot of what I like to say hopes and dreams of
well,
a dying
no.
Democratic Party.
To Prab's
That's what
point,
it sounds like.
To Prab's point, even the pundits are fucking fighting right now. There's a lot of infighting between like Tucker Carlson, who was the Republican like golden boy. Right now, he's not. Now you have huge swaths of people saying Tucker Carlson isn't MAGA. You have Candace Owens. You have Nick Fuentes, who part of the Groyper movement, who was kind of like a little bit against Trump, and it's kind of due to Israel, right? You are seeing a large slew of Republicans, and this is true of young Republicans who are anti-Israel, anti-support to Israel, anti-Israeli influence in American politics and in American government. Right, so that is where you're seeing a pretty decent divide, to where you are seeing the to what you I guess MAGA would be the far right in accordance to like how in accordance to how people are looking at it. Right, MAGA would be the far right. There's the far left, and now you have the moderate the moderate center for both. Right, for left and right, they're coming together. And it seems there seems to be a lot of a little bit of division on who is MAGA in your own movement, right? Like, is Tucker Carlson MAGA? Right, like right now they
would
want
say no. He's not MAGA. He used to be, but he's not.
Tucker Carlson isn't MAGA. Candace Owens, is she MAGA?
These
are people who largely supported Trump,
but like, Candace is interesting. What did she just put out the other day? And I was like, holy shit, Candace Owens being right. I like talked about it yesterday. And she had said some crazy prediction, and she ended up being right. I'm gonna have to find it. And I'll bring it up like next week or something. But like, she's an interesting one because on one hand, no, she's not MAGA. Like, she's definitely was pro Trump and then went like hard off the deep end like against him. But then at the same time, she's like very much like in tune with a lot of the MAGA movements, especially like you're talking about like this anti-Israel push. She's like super anti-Israel. A lot of this like that has kind of infiltrated into the like overall Republican MAGA thing. But there's 2 groups, right? There's the people that just want to be isolationists, and then there's the groups that are like, I guess there's maybe 3. I guess you have like, white supremacists, and then but like there's also there's the groups that want to be isolationists. Then you have like I don't know the like uniparty like people that are now kind of like anti-Israel, like, and then you have the uniparty people that are pro-Israel. Like there's all sorts of divides. I think there's all sorts of factions, and I think midterms where you see factions on both sides kind of rise up, as opposed to during the presidential where it's kind of more of like a monolith, like, because you're trying to get some standardized policy across the board. I don't really see them like hurting overall though. I feel like the Republicans are gaining voters. Like, if you go and look at what they're saying, well, Dems are losing voters. I think it's something like a 2 million person shift, or like 800,000 new voters for Republicans, like, or some crazy shit. Like, if you look at it overall, why are Republicans gaining if all the polls are saying like going down. And when you said like the MAGA is far right, they're like populist right. I find them like kind of moderate because they have like they're like 90s Dems. They have like a lot of like Clinton-esque like policy that they like mix in with some of their like right-leaning takes. For some of the right-leaning stuff's pretty far, but then they have like some very like populist for the people, social kind of like stuff that they're for. So like it's not like they're oh yeah, we want like states' rights.
Who's the far right to you?
The far right would be like maybe I don't know, maybe a further Texas nationalist to me, or like maybe a Christian nationalist, or you would see
the Christian nationalists support Trump.
Some do, but some are
a lot do.
Sure, a lot do, but some of them are like, they want like just because the far right supports Trump, yeah, like I think a Christian nationalist is probably the far the further right, like right, where they want like a religious conservatism, like kind of like.
Was Charlie Kirk a moderate, or was he more of a Christian nationalist leaning?
I would say he would be like center right. Yeah, he's probably not. He'd probably, I don't know, on a 1 to 10 scale, he'd be like a 7.8 or something.
7.8 and leaning like
on the right,
leaning
yeah.
Christian
like
nationalist,
if it was like 5 to 10 was right, yeah. Like I would say, yeah, he was. I would say he was like on the more moderate end of a Christian nationalist.
Okay, so the medium end of high.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so like if that's your moderate, right? If Charlie Kirk, who was like, as far as like Islamists go and like the Dawah bros and all these people, like, and you're like, I don't want these people. He was pretty much a Dawah bro for Christians, right? Like he was a Christianist. If there's Islamists, he was a Christianist. That
but he's not over here doing
wanted Christian law. He wanted, like, he would prefer, not that he wanted to institute it, not that.
Yeah, but I'm not calling for the assassination of imams either, though. The left is called the left is called for assassination of people like Charlie Kirk here. I'm saying.
Okay, yeah. All I'm saying is it's to the point where Charlie Kirk is a moderate, right? I don't even think he would have told you he was a moderate if he would have run. He would have told you, he's like, no, I want Christian values. If I could have Christian law, I would. This is a Christian nation, right? There's a whole thing. And so, like, if you guys have him as moderate, that's why you don't see the MAGA movement as far right, because he's your moderate.
Even with Kirk, though, right? He might be a social, like, heavy, like, conservative, right? But then he's going to be an economic moderate, right? He's not, like, a libertarian, heavy conservative. He's not like a Texas individual where you want, like, very limited government kind of conservative. He's not like a Tea Party conservative. Like, so even with him, he still, like, has this, like left-leaning shift economically and like policy-wise with some of their social programs and whatnot that he was for. Like he's very much like, oh, we should be not spending money overseas so we can spend the money here. Like he would be like, oh, okay with like some sort of social welfare programs that like other Republicans wouldn't be. So like even in that idea, there's still like that 90s dim slant to like the MAGA movement, right? Like, you might be more socially conservative, but then economically you're more left, right? Like they kind of like embrace both of these, where it can be both, because there's like within MAGA there's the spectrum. That's like it's like, okay, you have like too far, like if the right is like 5 to 10, like MAGA is probably like 6 to 8. So they have like this encompassing thing versus like you'll have all these other groups that are much smaller little things, like subsections. Does that make sense? And so they like kind of like if you're within like 6 to 8 on the scale, you could probably fit into what's acceptable under MAGA because most of your policy, but even though they're like whatever, like any one Republican might be like way further right. Like I probably way further right on most concern like economic issues than most MAGA people, right?
So is Nick Fuentes and the Groyper movement the far right?
Well, I think he's a socialist, so no.
You think he's a left socialist or a right-leaning socialist?
I mean, he's like Richard Spencer. Richard Spencer's on the left. He voted for Kamala and all down ballot.
You think Nick Fuentes is on the left?
I don't know. Not Nick Fuentes' personal policy.
Nick Fuentes was the America First MAGA guy. Like,
yeah, but then he renounced. He
literally was with Ye and Trump at the. He was with Ye.
Yeah, but then they had that falling out. I don't know, and then they got.
So now he's a socialist.
Well, you mean I feel like any of the Nazis are all socialists.
Okay, all right.
If they follow Hess, then they're all for sure.
That's fair.
So you're saying Lactoid is because Lactoid's a socialist, right? So by virtue of that,
oh, here we go. Maybe tangentially associated. The cousins.
Okay. All right, fair enough.
Okay, did anyone see Blackface Halloween? No, wait, go ahead, Corey. I'll bring up.
I don't know. I mean, to be fair, I don't know enough about Nick Fuentes' policies other than he's racist. That's all I know.
Well, all I was going to say is I don't agree with your assessment, Prime. But
Maybe
then
dares on that.
I think overall it doesn't change in terms of like just when, let's say, the rubber meets the road, like they will still vote for Trump. As in, despite everything that you brought up, it's like I don't
Round
think.
3.
Yeah, exactly. And I say that like probably with round 3, and it's like despite everything that you said, I'm pretty sure Lactoid doesn't regret voting for Trump. I think he still strongly supports him, despite all the criticism, despite all the Epstein stuff, despite all the fact that, Lactoid brands himself like, oh, protect the children, protect the children. Yeah, ultimately, he doesn't care when the rubber meets the road.
I'm pretty pleased with my vote. It's 2 people.
Yeah, exactly. Like, no. That's
Yeah.
Except if he fucks with hard-shooting beef, then I'm mad.
You're gonna be mad, and you would regret your vote, or you just be mad.
I'd just be mad.
Yeah,
It's still better
exactly.
Yeah,
It's better than the alternative.
there's going to be no regret of their vote, right? Like there is going to be no regret of their vote because they've sunk their teeth in too much, right? They can't. They can't like. My thing is, if Trump was healthy enough, honest to God, I believe they would allow and they would vote for a fucking 3rd term. They just would, right? And it's because they can't. The pride is there. They can't admit that they were wrong about something. They can't admit that this wasn't a great thing long term, right? And the whole like battle between left and right and like owning each other is just like it's not. We're lost. We're not even talking about politics anymore. We're back to like Prime's original point is we're just talking about gang shit. And it's like, yo, my team needs to win no matter fucking what. And that's all that matters is that my team won and my team is in the winning seat. Actual shit getting done means absolutely nothing to both sides at this point.
I agree.
Yeah. So, I mean, if we're criticizing the Democrats, I'll do that all day, every day, no problem. Right? Don't threaten me for a good time there. Like in terms of the Republicans, like I'm not gonna defend the honor of the Republicans and their level of consistency. Also, I understand that this is years from the election, right? Well, I mean, assuming there's no 3rd term. But let's just pretend there was. Just to pretend that somehow they wrangled it. So now he does get to like run the candidacy. Would they vote for him? Like I mean, most of the stuff that's happening now will be forgotten. I mean, depends on how badly he fucks up the economy, which is probably gonna be pretty fucking bad. But we're gonna find that out in 2026. But like these aren't the things that linger. Epstein is interesting. I'm curious if that'll linger. Because I like people have held on to the Epstein scandal like for years. I mean, like that happened years ago. Excuse me, that when he was arrested
Epstein
and then
didn't kill
died under
himself
Trump's
meme.
first term. Yeah, under Trump's first term that happened. Let's never forget. But like people have held on to this, right? Because this was a big thing in like the creation of MAGA and QAnon, right? It was the idea of like saving the children. GIBBS, we can hear you. We can hear you with everything you're doing. We can hear it. This is part of the QAnon meme about like, hey, the Democrats are like the ones who are destroying, or who are threatening the children, right? They're satanic elite billionaire sex cults, right? And then they got an example of an individual doing it, and with Bill Clinton attached, right? It was a perfect storm for them. And part of the QAnon was that, oh, well, Trump is going to bring them to justice, right? This got integrated in the rest of the MAGA movement, even the people who weren't necessarily QAnon. This got integrated into that. And so for people who actually cared about this idea, right, and weren't just like using cynically, like watching Trump's FBI, right, pretend that there weren't other clients, right, that there's nothing to see here, stop talking about it. Trump saying, oh, literally saying, hey, are we still discussing Epstein, right? I haven't thought about him in forever. What are you talking about? There's like his conspicuous attempts to move the conversation away from Jeffrey Epstein, right? And like the most sad and childish way of doing that. I'm like, oh, I have something bad that I'm trying to hide for you, and like that whole thing, yeah, that like I think has a lasting effect. I think it does. I suspect that it does.
I mean,
To what
will
power
that
though?
a-
Like
is
what
the, is it
happens?
enough of an effect to lose a potentially third election? I don't know.
because I mean, Trump one, he ran on many catchphrases, but from his constituents, it's like drain the swamp, and he pretty much said also multiple times, he's gonna drain the swamp, and then like he gets in, he doesn't do that, but they make excuses for that, and it's like it's the swamp again of like Cash Patel, Pam Bondi, and like their handling of Epstein, uh, it's it, they Trump has paid no cost for pretty much not draining swamp, but then they gave it they gave him the opportunity again. Like now he'll really do it, but then he appoints Cash Patel, who is incompetent, and also Pam Bondi, who is incompetent, and they're not doing anything with the Epstein files, and they're as far as I can tell, they're outright lying to the public, and they're like, yeah, there's nothing to see here, right? And so it's like, well, then yes, it's the swamp all over again, just like it was in Trump one. So he's not doing it, but he still pays no cost for that, and they're still going to vote for him again. Of like maybe this third time around, now he'll really drain the swamp.
And I don't even think the third time around that he'll really drain the swamp. I think at this point it is just vibes. It is just like a lot of MAGA feels like, hey, we're getting what we want, right? Maybe we didn't get the Epstein list, right? Maybe we didn't get the Epstein list, but worse things have happened, right? I'm getting what I want at the end of the day. A lot of MAGA still feels that way, right? Like they see the deportations are happening. They see the tariffs. Maybe I don't fucking know what I actually don't know what they're getting, that they keep saying they're getting what we want and this is what we voted for, other than like the White House Twitter page memeing left and right, and then Donald Trump using AI slop of him wearing a crown and like shitting on citizens like throughout New York and so on and so forth. So like it is like it's vibes based voting, and I think third term comes along, right? I think the issue is they don't have someone as fiery as Trump, right? They don't have the next the next guy who's going to win and come and sweep in a debate. They don't have the riz, they don't have the charisma of the guy. So like if push comes to shove and he was healthy and you ran a third term, I think it would literally be like, bro, are you guys serious? Imagine what an own on the libs it would be if we actually got a third term Trump. And I think that would be enough of a push to get the guy fucking elected. If Democrats don't vote against him, really.
I agree.
Look, I guess I don't want to be put in a position defending MAGA, right? They're awful, 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 awful. And so would they show themselves to be complete hypocrites again, right? Like, I think you're more likely right than wrong. I'm just like trying to like look for hope there, right? I'm trying to take MAGA at their word, which again, that's it's a dangerous endeavor, but I'm trying to take MAGA at their word. And it seems like for some of these things, they really stuck, right? Like there seems to be moving, just separating from voting for a second, right? There seems to be a big disagreement within the Conservative Party right now. There's a fight happening. It's a fight happening over Israel, which has never happened before. Right? This is usually a generational fight. We're seeing there. There's a fight over isolationism, right? Like, are we actually going to be isolationist party? Or like, what we meant is neocon. What we meant is regime change, right? Is that what we're going to do here again? There's a fight over, there might be less of a fight over this, but like, Trump scamming his people, like in treating them badly, like literally with crypto. Like that's the thing that just fucking happened. Right?
No
like,
one cares about that, man. No one cares.
Maybe not.
Literally, no
maybe
one
not.
cares.
Maybe not. Okay.
I haven't heard
not.
one complaint about that. GIBBS, do you care at all about the president making a crypto coin? And
well, GIBBS is never going to care. GIBBS is
But,
not
like,
going to care
I mean,
about
just
that.
like-
No, I don't care. It was based
Of
as
course, he's
fuck.
not going to care.
Oh, you should do it
Of course,
again.
he's not going to care.
You should do it
That's
again.
not going to. Come on, other people.
Fair, that's fair. That's
I think
fair.
other-
Listen.
That's
I've
based.
heard a little. I heard a little bit about that, but like I said, if there's a fight there, it's much smaller. To be fair,
it's
and then there's Epstein, right? And I think there's something here, but again, I'm not going to die on the hill of like defending the honor of MAGA.
So over the weekend, right? And this is kind of why I say they don't care. Is have you seen Blackface Halloween? Right? You have Brittany Venti, you have Empath Chan, and you have Lily Gaddis, whoever that other girl. and they went on their blackface thing, and it's like we're at the point where this shit isn't even like seen as devastating anymore. It's just seen as rage bait. We're just kind of like where everyone's kind of like numb to it, where it used to be cancellations and this person's never going to get a job again, where it's like now there is just like no effect. People are kind of able to do whatever they want, and it's because if it's seen as an own on the libs, if it's seen on an own against the woke, right? If it's seen on an own against
would you call it fatigue, Ollie? Would you call it fatigue? Would you just say it's because of fatigue?
Sure, right? Yeah, like what they have the fatigue, right? They're over it, right? They're over it. So now it's the left has been so anti-racist, and you guys canceled all these people, and we weren't allowed to do anything. That obviously the backlash was bound to come, and now everyone's kind of more or less okay with the backlash. If people can make money off doing blackface on Twitter, right, and not receive any repercussion for it, and not receive any form of like social shame or like it used to be that you would lose your job if you did shit like that. Now these people don't even have jobs to lose, right? Like their job is rage baiting on Twitter, and they get to continue to do it because hey, this is a free speech platform, right? We have Kick and Rumble that we can go to if we want to do these things. And so
Or
it's like
Twitter.
just a bit, but yeah, straight up Twitter. And it used to be there used to be, I guess, more moderate, right? We used to be more moderate, maybe. Maybe these things were more behind closed doors, behind the scenes, and now it's kind of just up front. And so, like when we bring up things like the Epstein list, it's like like the people that are supposed to care about the Epstein list are the people doing blackface, or the people doing what is a woman, right? Like these are the people, like they have.
But don't make fun of Charlie Kirk.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Don't make fun of Charlie Kirk. Right now, we can't focus on the Epstein
They want
list.
free speech again. It's just like the art. At the end of the day, they just want it's free speech under the guy just to be racist. That's its justification.
So like, when we had like you can have George Floyd, George Droid all day, right? You can have the George Droid Twitter account, which is just it's basically just an AI George Floyd, and it's basically him as a robot, and so on, and it's all mad racist shit. Okay. But then if you do like one Charlie Kirk joke, well, you are a murderous, you want to kill everyone in your
now path. You're a bad person. That is.
So like,
indecent.
The issue is in our little social war that like, man, the pendulum is just swinging way too hard from the right now. And it's like, yeah, I don't know that the Epstein list matters when you have assassins on the left killing people for their free speech. Blackface is kind of just now accepted. Now it's just haha, you're being too sensitive. What do you mean? Drewski can do whiteface, but these girls can't do blackface. It's like, well, maybe there's a difference in the content from both, right? Like if we look at the content from Drewski and if we look at the content from these three girls, maybe there's a little bit of a difference.
So I'm curious what the other two I have to say here. I'll say quickly that I've been shocked, like watching the transition from president to president. Just how much of the population, like how much their morals and actions are affected by the leader of their nation. That really the president, it's amazing, really has the power to set the tone. I think this is part of the worship of the state actors thing that I was mentioning previously. But like they literally get to set the tone for the country. And this is on both sides, right? So under Biden, right, like the woke agenda was ascendant, right? And like institutions and people fall all over themselves to back that. And people just felt more free to push, quote unquote, whatever the woke agenda was, right? And I don't say woke in the negative term the way other people do, but still, like, I'm just like trying to get a sentiment across here, right? The quote unquote woke agenda was like ascended under Biden. And then as soon as Trump wins again, right, there's a massive shift, right? There's a shift in how corporations operate. Immediately they start tearing that shit down, right? Like Target and Walmart and all that, like their gay pride sections. Those things disappear right quick. This started happening at the end, near the end of the Biden administration too. But like still, like, there's a big push by like the corporate goons to get in line quickly because of Trump. But also it emboldens people right? The literally the worst of our fucking society, to be worse in public, right? Like they feel like now they have permission. The people were talking about this. Now I actually have permission, right? To be as horrible as I want, right? To say like the slurs and stuff, right? People were saying that comedy is legal. And by that they mean like being offensive to others. Like I can do that again, right? And they can't fight back
No,
against me.
offensive to others that are not in your in group. Yeah, don't make fun of
They're
Charlie
not in your
Kirk.
in group. Exactly. That's the thing that they want, right? And to wrap this up quickly, I think that I think it's just incredible watching this. Like I like the going through the few presents I've had in my lifetime, right? Like uh they've never affected my actions, my
A
my
lot of people,
morals, right? My priorities, all the same under every president, right? But for others, it changes radically. Now they have permission, right, to do
I just
whatever
want
they
to add
want.
something.
Right.
I just wanted to add something so it doesn't feel like an attack on the right. One of the girls, Empath Chen, is a girl that Destiny was with, right? That Destiny brought to the Unfuck America tour, brought her on stage. I don't know what the fuck she was, and then called Darius a hard R. She hard R'd him on stage on like somewhat like there's a bunch of videos on it. So it's like this isn't just an issue with like the right. This is clearly an issue with the left where we're bringing these like crazy people in, right, to have like, and it's like there is no recourse, right? There's going to be no recourse for Unfuck America for having that happen on stage. There's going to be no recourse for Destiny for hanging out with a literal meth head Nazi like Cutter, who is just like doing blackface on Twitter and hard R slurring at his event. There's going to be no recourse for any of these people, and I think that's the issue.
I do think that there's even like a wider, like more spread change that's happening as well. Like maybe, and so I went to TwitchCon recently, right? And I noticed, and I was talking to like my friend it's Justini, and she's like the vibes are very different. Like I'm having a lot of fun like outside the event, but the con itself feels different. I go, well, what do you mean? She goes, maybe it's the politics, but like stuff that would have been like cool a few months ago is just like cringe and like lame, and like there's this thing that's been shared around is that video, that girl doing the little like poses and bullshit, and it's like, wow, this is really the cringiest con in the world. And it definitely felt like a large segment of like people were just like in mourning or like zombie walking, while a different segment of people was like having more fun. There were people I had never seen at cons before at this con, and like I think it's like maybe like a more widespread like almost cultural like shift. It's not just political. I don't think that has occurred. And you mentioned the using the slur and hanging out with the Nazi. I actually am like very concerned about this because it seems like there is a right and left shift to where they are all going towards this like all of my things moving. All moving towards this like very like what I would like to call, I don't know, almost Nazi-esque like language and ideology that's like a new mono party kind of thing that's like I'm seeing on both sides a lot of the same terms. There's like almost an agreement with some of these extremists, like their leaders like Nick Fuentes and Richard Spencer are like kind of crazy, right? But then on the left you see Impact Chan, they're saying like very similar shit, but they're like somehow on different sides, and I don't know, it makes me a little bit worried, I'll say that, like for like the future, because like that, that's how the Nazis got power in the first place, because they like hijack populist movements. I mean, and I know I look like I'm Zig Haley, but I'm trying to fix my thing.
Yeah, as you say,
As I say this,
hijacking populist movements.
That's how it starts, GIBBS.
That's how it starts, bro. They cancel us, bro.
Yeah, no,
first you're fixing your equipment, then you're
it's just where the state of discourse is today, and like once again, what are your avenues of being popular, and what makes you popular, and how can you make money, right? If these people don't have jobs to like lose, right? If their job is just like being online and doing rage bait, well then like that type of conversation, that type of rhetoric, that type of discourse is just going to become commonplace, right? We've already seen the resurgence of retard come back, right? It's kind of become a more commonplace term nowadays. Whereas like 3 years ago, it was a big deal if people were still calling it the R word, right? And it's at a certain point, like the N word's kind of making somewhat of a resurgence in more edgy spaces right nowadays, where people kind of just say it, and it's like, what can you do? and it's just strange. It's the state of discourse is like really weird, especially online.
It is strange. I find it really weird, like how it's like almost cross ideology. This has become like accepted, like that like I don't know. I used to be like I sit here and I see this, and it's like I've definitely had conversations with people on the right who are like, oh, we should just embrace these racist people. And like just let it in, right? And I'm not pretending those people don't exist, right? And they had it, and I'm like, no, bro. What are you? I'm like, you're mixed, and they're like, yeah, I say I look white, whatever. I'm like, yeah, bro. They say that, but then they get you into the trains in group number 4 or 5 instead of groups 1 or 2. Like they eventually the trains run for everybody, like. And so I'm sitting here like hearing this, and it's like, yeah, you're white, Gibbs. I'm like, yeah, but until they start blood testing people, and like that, and I'm a little concerned about that kind of shit. And I think we should be real concerned when, like, the opposite side, the left, is starting to sound very eerily similar about, like, some of these, like, issues. Like, to the right. I don't know. I'm very concerned. Like, how it seems like there's a cross ideological acceptance of certain kind of, like, activities recently.
Where are you at in this prime? Or are you just looking up who Empath Chan is?
I don't.
He was
know,
like Tila Tequila Nazi cosplay.
Oh my god, Tila! Oh god, Tila Tequila.
That is quite the reference.
That's a reference.
We got a deep cut.
Oh my god. Yeah. Oh my god. I had known like someone. I don't know. This is like 2 years ago. Like I hadn't known like what became of Tila Tequila. Then I was like shocked. Holy fuck. Excuse me. Finding that her brain literally broke. Hey, before that, hey guys, I'm having trouble remembering the name of the game. A few years ago, there's like a bunch of people on a spaceship, and then there's a murderer running around.
Among Us.
Thank you. I'm looking something up here. But in any case,
you're playing that on the side.
I'm not playing on the side.
Goose Duck is a really good version of it now. If you haven't played it, pretty good version. Try it out.
Anyway, so what was the question?
Just like have you seen has any of this reached the like I guess for you're in a weird place where you do online panels and you know all these people, but then you avoid Twitter and every form of online discourse available. So it's like, has it reached, I guess, the normie lands of like, have you seen any of this? Have you seen any of the unfuck tour bullshit with like Destiny bringing this girl on her hard slurring Darius? Have you seen any of these 3 people do their blackface? Like, has it reached your world?
No,
no. That is insane.
I'm just learning this from you.
Okay.
Yeah, no idea.
And, so then maybe online discourse doesn't mean anything if in the real world none of these people are talking about any of this.
Oh, I think in the real world, it's happening in the real world.
That's what I'm like. I'm wondering like where Prime's bubble is at. Yeah.
Wait a minute. It depends on what you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
If you're specifically saying, hey, like an atmosphere where people are doing blackface. And are like, putting out signals of hate, right? You're more comfortable to do that. Well, then yes, that's out there. But it's like talk about specific streamers among regular individuals, right? Especially anyone below fucking Hassan's level. Like, no, people aren't talking about that. And people aren't talking about Hassan either, right? Like it's just not a thing that other people think it is. But yeah. If you're using this as a mirror for the general attitudes that might exist within the world, right? As a symbol of that, a totem of that, then yes, I think you're onto something.
Oh. Yeah. I think it's something to be said that they're comfortable enough doing it. Like the Lily Gaddis girl didn't do like a clip or a photo. She did like a whole stream. Right? She did like a whole Halloween stream as LaQuisha, right? Brittany Venti is, she is half black, but her, but she's like like super light skinned, and so like her doing it was like calling it blacker face. It was just, I just thought it was weird. I think people having this level of confidence to post this shit online, knowing like that, like it's gonna be like screenshotted, shared, and reposted by so many different people. I think it's a nuts level of confidence to have that. Like what, in 3 years, in 4 years, this is all going to be okay? Is it that your money was made, or is it that you will just continue to have some type of online career doing this?
Well, I think it's too. Sorry to interrupt, but
No,
I think
no.
to Prime's point, it's like this is pretty much like from the top of like obviously, it's not a 1-to-1, but like the official government accounts, like Trump is essentially doing the same thing. You brought it up, and like he posted whatever an AI generated of like him, just basically, literally, just like defecating on the American public. It's like, like it's coming from the top, but figuratively and literally, and so it's like it's tacit permission to behave in that way. Like if norms and politeness are sort of out the window, it's like I don't know what you expect to happen, type of thing. Like these are all sort of unwritten rules, type of thing, or rules of engagement. But Trump skirts those and gets away with it, and so people are understandably going to think they will get away with it.
That's what makes me believe that a third term kind of comes easy at this point if the guy's healthy, because like we aren't even a full year into this term, and we're already throwing out so much civility, so much like just politeness, to say it, for lack of a better term. It's just yeah, I don't know where the fuck we go from here. Because I don't see the Democrats having anyone to show who's the Democrat runner. Who's our guy?
Mayor Pete, bro. It's Mayor Pete.
Who?
Mayor Pete's his name, the Dems.
Oh boy. People to judge.
Cool, give me 1 second. Be back.
Okay. Okay. I was gonna say something to him. Never mind. Does someone want to say something while I wait? I was gonna say something to him.
I was also going to say something to him. So we're both
okay. Well, that's unfortunate. That's really unfortunate. I guess we'll talk to GIBBS, right?
Yeah.
Everyone forgot about GIBBS.
Hey, I'll tell you what, it's all the Dems' fault that they're losing. And this cope session has been wonderful. I've been enjoying licking those tears.
Is this a cope session?
Hearing y'all weep about the disarray of the Democratic Party.
Okay, well, wait. If Republicans lose the midterms and then whoever we run, they win in 2028.
Who do the Dems run? Who they run?
Let's say they run Kamala again and Kamala wins. I'm just saying, like, at the end of the day, like you can
I
go
gotta be
want,
honest. This third term shit is a joke.
Do you think that Republicans are just going to be in power like forever? Like Democrats will never win again? Is that your mentality?
No, I don't think that at all.
Okay.
But what I do think is Republicans are going to win the next, maybe not. I don't know about midterms. Maybe they pull off of the unexpected and somehow stay all the way in charge in midterms. That'd be crazy. That'd really show that the Democrats have just lost their way completely. I don't know what they would do if that happened. But
I don't disagree.
But let's say the usual thing happens and they lose, one of the houses, maybe both, at midterms, right? I don't know. Overall, I see what's happening kind of right now. Like, if we look at it, maybe they at the local level lose these like spots in the House and Senate. But when I go and see, I don't know. I see the far left is doing one thing with the party and the Dems, and that's like they're at least trying out getting some new people. Like Madami, he's new blood. They're pushing some other people. They're at least trying that, right? And then that's popular now, and that's going to be galvanized with the base, right? But when it comes to major election time, you need someone who's going to encompass more of the independents, the middle people. The Republicans have 3 or 4 decent candidates already lined up for after Trump, right? Like this Trump running for a third term. I'm not putting much serious stock in. He's old. I don't see him actually doing it. I think it's more of a troll. But, let's just say he doesn't, because I don't think he will. We have Abbott. Abbott can argue that he's been doing the Trump thing since before Trump, right? We can argue he's got Vance. He's decent. DeSantis could probably throw his name in there, right? And then there's Rubio as a dark horse. I mean, Ted Cruz probably raised enough money to fucking be decent. These are all decent candidates, right? Whether or not you like them, I think they're good. They're all experienced. They have some charisma. They have their own backing. They'll be immediately plug and play. And I think a lot of them, some of them are heirs apparent. I think Rubio can be the neocon heir. I think, Abbott's a dark horse. I think Vance currently is the front runner for MAGA. These all have claims they can maybe steal some from each other, right? And then I go look at the Dems and they got, I said Mayor Pete and then Prime started laughing because Mayor Pete I thought I saw a poll at one point. He had 0% of the black vote or something like that. Sorry, you're not gonna win. when you have 0% of the vote for one group of people that makes up like 11% or something of the United States. Like, not winning that rate. Okay. And then you compare him to other groups, he's just got no support outside of like white Dems. Like, that's it. Then who else they got? Kamala? Kamala's pretty tainted. I'm not too worried about Kamala, a Republican. You just go down the list. It seems like they got nobody. If there's going to be Bernie, he'll be 100 years old. There's an AOC. That's not a serious candidate. Like,
so I don't know if that AOC is not a serious candidate.
not for president.
But
not right now.
I don't know if she's not a serious candidate for president. She has one of the best name recognitions of the party right now. Right?
Yeah, that's good for Republicans.
Okay, well, sure. I'm not going to argue with that. But like in any case, I understand why you don't like her. But I don't want to go on the whole thing on AOC. Like focusing on what you said, like I think you said something interesting, right? And I hadn't put much thought into it, but I think Greg Abbott is actually a really interesting candidate. Like I think what you said, like yeah, he was doing the Trump thing before Trump. I think you're onto something.
Yeah.
I think that he could actually be formidable. I think he has. I mean, the political chops, right? I don't know, charisma is the word for it, but I think the political chops to do so. And I think he probably has he'd have the institutional backing. He'd have the money back. I don't know like what group he wouldn't have backing from. And I'm trying to think.
I think the MAGA would split. It would be the split between Vance and him. But I think the argument would be is Vance is the heir apparent, right? But then I think his argument would be like, hey, I was putting people on the border before Trump, while Trump wasn't even in office. I was one fighting the Biden administration. Like, I could see him making these arguments that he's been doing this shit since before Trump even ran the first time. I think would be like a way he could win MAGA. But yeah, I think that he's definitely a dark horse. I don't think people are factoring in.
I think that Vance would be following in Trump's wake, and he can't he can't keep the coalition together in the same way because one, he has no charisma, none, zero, not a bit of it. I don't. It's not like I don't think he's a quote unquote serious candidate, right?
He's
That's not what I'm saying.
Too.
I'm just saying that he doesn't have what it takes. I think what the Republicans are looking at, right, in 2028, is like a reset, right? Like the same type of reset that the Democrats had when Obama left office, right? Like, what are we going to do, right? We had this generational talent, right? And I can say that about Trump, a generational talent that inspired a movement. But now they're gone. Like, how do we move forward? I think they're going to be the same way, right? People are saying, "Well, Vance will take it," right? Yes, he'll win, just like Hillary Clinton, right? The chosen, the heir apparent, won against Trump, right? Like just because of that. In fact, usually the party switch, right? Usually the party switch. So like looking at modern history. The chances are actually against Vance for a whole list of reasons because people fell in love, right? That coalition fell in love with that individual, that person, right? That president, they were the ones holding it together. And as soon as that's gone, the person who says, "Okay, I'm going to be President John Smith's third term," right? Well, then you got to bring me that energy, right? Like you gotta show me that you have everything this person has, rather than necessarily giving a chance to shine yourself, right? Like, hey, here's all the ways I'll be different, Or instead, you're drafting off what they did, and they just have 8 years of baggage, right? So you're getting the negatives of their of the previous.
I don't think he's got the establishment pool either. I think that's why, I think DeSantis and Abbott are still formidable. I think Abbott, is not as tainted as DeSantis, and I mean, obviously, I'm a little biased as a Texan, but I think he's still got the old neocon connections, right? But he's also hey, I've done all the MAGA shit too, right? I've been Trump's biggest warrior. You want a state battle fought for the Trump cause? I'll sit Ken Paxton.
Some Vance?
Right? No, Abbott has been his greatest warrior. Anytime we need a MAGA issue push, we're gonna do redistricting. Abbott's been at the lead, right? This is kind of I think he can argue this and sell it to MAGA and then still at the same time be like, hey boys, I'm an old school oil tycoon neocon, petrodollar. Like, I think that he's like somebody that could uniquely unite those bases, in a way that others maybe couldn't, and like I said, I'm a little biased because as a Texan, we always wanted Texans to do well.
No,
And I think that he's got the
you're onto
meme,
something.
and I think he's also got the meme thing. You see what he did for fucking Halloween? He posted a video of him as like Professor Xavier sitting in a wheelchair, and he's
right,
rolling
fair.
into a Hot Wheels, and
I'll
then
take it.
yeah, then he posted an AI thing of him as like a Hot Wheels car because the other joke is he call him Hot Wheels, and I'm like,
yeah.
so
She
like,
called him
he's-
Jasmine Crockett.
yeah, so like he posted,
Which
I'm
and
like,
there was
that's-
and they were bullshitting about like how they thought that was offensive. Come on, calm
yeah, they
down,
both like
right?
trolled into it now. Yeah, I mean, and so I think he's got some. I think that's he's somebody. I think that people haven't given a penny that should watch for this next election. I also think Vance is really young, and like he's probably gonna like fall. I think in the primary where he can't unite like the neocons, like because
He's getting torched. He gets torched too much online right now. He has the whole Erica Trump or Erica Kirk hug.
But it's
thing,
like it keeps his name in
right?
the news though. That's like a good thing though.
Yeah, but it's and I don't know if America's ready for a Hindu first lady. Yeah. I think him having a Hindu wife that hasn't converted with children is a fucking and like he brings it up like relatively often. Like he just brought it up in a big way where he's like, I want her to convert. I hope she does one day. And it's for the Americans, for the white founder colonial Americans. They're like, hey, I don't know if we want the Hindu first lady bringing fucking
that's gonna be a problem. It's
Vishnu
gonna be a
into
problem.
the White House is a bit much.
And the way it wouldn't be on the other side, it's gonna be a problem. I'm curious if she's like his lust for power and her lust for power will get her to actually do some sort of conversion, some sort of
everyone's the meme right now is that he's gonna leave her. The meme right now is that he's gonna leave her for Erica Kirk. That's what's
I see. What would be better move? Would it be better to do that or have like Franklin Graham come out in his like little ceremonial robe and like I baptize you in the name of the Father National. We're bringing the Christian right back into the National like the White House. I could see them turn this the whole thing. Like I don't know. What's the better message? I say once again as it starts moving.
Yeah. Listen, man. All I'm saying is, if anything holds true to any of these meetings, which I don't think it will, right? I don't think the guy is going to leave his wife for Erica Kirk. I think it's just bad. It's good for the joke, but like just saying, if he breaks up with his wife because she didn't convert, there's going to be a lot of fucking shit fuckery going on. There's going to be a lot of hms and ha's because I think interracial marriages are fine, right? You should be able to embrace someone else's culture, right? Wow. That should be a fun part. That should be a fun part of the relationship, right? Interreligious, I don't see a long road for interreligious. That one's never necessarily made sense to me. Faith and values are a little bit like those should be more aligned with your partner, I think, than especially like
I don't know if they're necessarily unaligned though, right? Like I like. They're like Christian conservatives. Yeah, they don't want to hear this. They really don't want to hear what I'm about to say, right? Yeah. Christian conservatives have a lot in common with their Muslim conservative brothers. Yeah, right. They want a lot of the same thing.
Yeah, fair.
Just under a different banner, and for a different nation. But like you go down their list of priorities, right? Mm-hmm. One for one.
I'm saying when you have the kids thing, right? I think there's a big play of like, well, okay, if you are a Christian and you are a Muslim, right? There are interfaith Muslim Christian relationships, and I'm not gonna lie, I don't know how the fuck that works. Because if you're raising kids, right? If the idea is this religion is correct, then the other religion is to an extent incorrect, right?
There's a solution on it, right?
The patriarchy.
No, so one, Christians is the only way is through Jesus, right? So obviously you raise a Christian because in the Muslims, y'all believe some people can still get added through works, like for example, Mother Teresa. So we just raise this kid good, and his kid raised a Christian, does all these good works, he'll still technically get into heaven.
Yeah, if you're
But if
raised
you
Christian
raise
and
them
you're a
as
good
a
Christian,
Muslim, when you raise them as a Muslim, and then they won't get into the Christian heaven.
I mean,
But
yeah,
it's,
but the Muslim heaven's better.
But see,
it
they can
only
get into either
matters.
heaven with if they're Christian though. They just only get into the one.
This is true. There is a good little
You gotta
loophole there.
play, yeah, see, you gotta play the loophole.
Listen, Muslim heaven is accepting of all denominations, right? It's just we get the best version of it.
You just gotta, you gotta play the odds.
It only demand, like in terms of these interfaith marriages, it only matters if one of them is Orthodox, right? Like or like
a pagan religion versus an Abrahamic religion in an interfaith marriage. She's Hindu. She's not like Jewish.
Yeah,
she's not like Muslim. She's Hindu.
I get that, right?
Yeah.
I'm saying how much does the individual involved in whatever combination you have, right? How much of these individuals Orthodox, right? How much how conservative they are concerning their religion. If they're very liberal about it, right? Well, liberal religious individuals are very loosey goosey with the rules, right? And so, like, yeah, liberal Christians are all about like, oh, well, there's truths that can be found in other religions, right? Like,
not paganism.
Yes, they are. Yes, they do.
Not in paganism.
They do that. Yeah, they do. Yes, they absolutely do. 100%.
Yeah, there's
people
a lot
like
of
say,
them, dude.
oh, how much I respect these other religions like Hinduism, right? How much I've learned from them.
It's
from
facts.
Buddhism.
It's
like,
fact.
absolutely.
They're saying that like paganism, and then when they said this, they were talking about like Norse paganism, Germanic paganism, and like I think like some of them had a like witchcraft one that was like not like Christian based in nature or whatever.
We're talking about like secular Christians.
Yeah, but no, they've all grown like in the last like 10 years. And these are like not like secular at all. They're all like secular would be like worldly, like maybe without like religion almost, but like these are like all like pagan, like Germanic pagan, like Nordic pagan. Those all religions have grown massively in recent years. That's because I think people are like becoming more accepting of like this idea there's truths in other religions, kind of thing that Prime was just talking about. Now, I do think that there's like a lot of like this is something that a lot of Christians aren't gonna like either. That I'm about to say. I think there's a lot of in common between the Hindus and some conservative Christians as well, like which groups they don't like. They
don't like the Muslims.
They don't like the Muslims, and there's not enough Jews for them to care. So
there isn't enough Jews to care. We have to worry about the Muslims. New scapegoat, guys.
But no, but like that's what I'm saying. First of all, conservatives are conservatives across countries, right? Like if you look at what's her name? The new Prime Minister of Japan, Iron Lady of Japan, right? I look at her, right? Yeah, she has a lot of like policy initiatives that would fit right at home here in the United States. Like conservatives are conservatives no matter where you go. But pulling back in terms of the religion, yeah, like liberal Christians are very much tolerant of like other faiths. Now, how tolerant they are, it depends, right? Depends. I'm not saying that it's a guaranteed lock, that it'll work out there. But like I'm saying there's a path there if they're liberal about it. If they're conservative about it, right? Like, yes, like the only way to salvation is through Jesus Christ, right? And I'm sure not going to let my child, right, like end up in hell by following some other religion, right? Well, then, yeah, you better convert or else. So,
yeah, I don't know how that would work for these guys.
I mean, not those guys.
No, I mean, like I'm saying for Vance, right? Like that is a hill he's gonna have to go up against if he plans on running for president. That's going to be a big point of contention for him. He's gonna have to deal with it. One for like the people who are like believe in like family values that see him as kind of like slighting his wife, right? If you're going on like the national stage and saying like I want her to convert, but blah blah blah, it's like. It's a little bit weird. It's a little bit weird to do that to your wife on the national stage, just kind of call her out on her religion. And then right now too, we have like there's a big H-1B like Indian like pro push in like the MAGA movement. Seems oddly enough, and so like
there's a bit
him slighting her on that front too could hurt him.
There's a split on that one, but just 1 second, just like this Brittany Venti person. I hadn't seen them before, so I've never. I don't know this person.
Yeah.
And I don't know their politics or anything. Are they liberal or conservative? What's going on?
I think they're conservatives.
Okay.
I think
I
they
mean,
are conservatives.
okay, so we're gonna go on what he thinks, and I don't know. I don't know this to be the case. Okay, all right. So if it's wrong, then just blame him. Okay, blame the Muslim. Everyone's doing it,
She
right? This
doesn't
hot
seem to
new
have like
trend.
any like as far as I've ever seen her, she doesn't really have liberal like topics and or left talking points. And I mean, I don't know. I
Mm,
don't know too many people on
mm.
the left that are talking about black people and fried chicken. Like I don't know too
I,
many people
I
on the left that are really going
I
in
don't.
on that joke. So
So I have no idea. But I'm just gonna go off what is it? Like I said, I've never seen this person
yeah.
before. Um, but she's saying, here's a picture of her. I was on InfoWars today. Brittany Venti. So I'm guessing conservative. Maybe not.
Probably, yeah.
Not necessarily. But and I also haven't seen, because I'm just going off of your descriptions. I haven't seen this like blacker face thing you're talking about.
Yeah, let me
So you have
find
to
it
send me
for
a
you.
picture or something.
Yeah.
But like all those caveats in place, right? Is that I don't know this person. And I could be wrong. And if so, I would apologize. But and you're saying that she's half black, right?
Yes.
Okay, so all this, if that's the case, all these caveats in place, I would say that like light skinned black people be doing some crazy shit. That just because she has black blood in her body doesn't mean she is of our people, right? Just because you're skin folk that doesn't mean you're kin folk, right? And so, and if you're going to see it, like oftentimes
Well,
you
here's
see
a
it
link to just
on,
one tweet, and then you can go through her Twitter if you want. The past 24 hours will be enough, or the past 72 hours would be enough for you. And she hasn't really. It's been, you know, she took
okay,
Twitter ablaze. It got 69,000 likes. Her little blackface stunt.
formerly black women rebels. Okay, so I'm just I don't see her. Um, I don't see her. Hold on. Is that her with the curly hair? Oh, that is her
Mhm.
with the shoe polish.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Right. Yeah. That's. Yeah. I mean, and look, it is not only like light skinned black people who like get up to some insanity, right? It's not only them. So I don't want to make it like there's some sort of scourge, but right, hey, there always has been since slavery times been that divide between the house Negroes and the field Negroes. No, seriously, right? And there are some
That's yeah.
individuals who like think like, hey, they're closer to massa, right? They're closer to power, and they'll do anything for it. And again, like if assuming like this person is everything you said she was, right? Um, like like that just adds up, right? Like her being half black, right, doesn't save her. In fact, there's lots of black people who abandoned the community the moment they realized they could pass. They got right the fuck out of there, right? And that still happens to this day, where some of these light skins will disappear on us, right? They don't want to be associated with their family anymore, right? They're looking for access to the white patriarchy, to the white power system. They'll do anything for it. So if she's that type of person, again, if right, well then fuck her. Fuck everything she's about. And it's none of it's a surprise, not even a little bit of a surprise, because like these type of people exist, right? Traitors to the rest of us.
That's
Yeah,
right.
I think she was
Nick
one of
Flint-
those not black enough for the black crowd, not white enough for the white crowd, but the white crowd's probably easier to patronize to. So that's that. I think that's the way that cookie
All right,
crumbled.
go ahead. You're talking, Gibbs. You're muted.
You hear me now?
It's muted at all the
Yeah,
wrong
mhm.
times.
Yeah,
You know,
I'm just
you know
saying,
these
like,
ruffling things, but they're
I
not.
can relate to that. Not black, like brown enough for the brown people, not white enough for the white people. Like I'm Hispanic, but I'm like white, clearly looking right. And this is kind of like I don't really get on the whole. Somebody's a race trader, but like this like thing with like for example, Nick Princess, right? He's a racist. He's also Hispanic. He's like a white supremacist, and I'm like, bro, you
Myron Gaines.
lead the cause, but they're gonna round you up for the rest of us. I'm just saying, at some point, hey, you did good for us, buddy. To the showers, and like, I don't know. I guess
Is he Hispanic? Is Fuentes Hispanic?
Yeah, he's
Hispanic. He's half
so,
Hispanic.
So I'm like over here going, I don't think I'm not like pro like any race over another, right? Like whenever he's sitting there saying this shit, so I don't want to call someone a race trader, but like, goddamn, bro, like this guy's over here promoting, hey, like let's wipe out whole groups of people, all this bullshit, and like, it's not really far from like what like y'all are saying though, where it's like these people are like just trying to survive. They're like, oh, I'm gonna get away because I passed. Like I can like get it, like understand maybe like trying to grift, but like at the end of the day, there's like no grift once like somebody starts like blood testing for like your purities and shit. Like, like how long is this gonna last for?
There are people that don't even pass. I don't know if Myron Gaines from Fresh and Fit, that fucking pussy, was sitting here saying, like, basically he was saying like non-Christians are guests in America, and like more to like considering Protestants were the ones who started so on and so forth. But like he's a Muslim, like black for child of immigrants, so on and so forth. Like, I'm sorry, I'm born here. I'm not a guest in this fucking country. Kiss my fucking ass, right? This is my country, baby. I got the passport to prove it.
Damn right.
You can run all the blood tests you want. I'm not saying I'm white. I'm saying this is my country. This is my home. I'm not a guest.
Goddamn right.
But like, I think it's insane for people who are just like looking to patronize to white supremacists in any way, shape, or form. I think it's weird because like, yeah, GIBBS, to your point, like you can suck up to them now and they can treat you good in the beginning, but eventually they'll just put you on bus 4 or 5 instead of 1 and 2. So I think it's I think it's really weird to like patronize to these people.
I mean, Candace always exists, right? Like Candace always exists. And also, when we're talking about Latin individuals, like the problem is we can't treat them as a group the way like America likes to treat other groups. Like they're extremely diverse, right? And like being Latin isn't a race; it's an ethnicity, right? And there are white Latin individuals, right, closer to our friend GIBBS there. And then there are the ones darker than me, right? Afro Latin individuals. They aren't all the same. They have different histories, different priorities, and different access to white power structures, right? Different relationships to that. And so, yeah, there are plenty of people. Like, if you look at them as a race, then you'll be like confused when white Latin individuals vote Republican, right? Democrats will be shocked, right? I thought you were Latin. I thought like your vote was a lock for me just because you're Latino, right? Like,
you're a minority.
No, it's not the case. In any case, even for those who are darker skinned, right? Like, yeah, your vote necessarily isn't guaranteed, right? You have to earn it from individuals, especially if they're like newer immigrants and they have like less of like a familial tie to that party, right? Where like your father's been voting for Democrats, and then your grandfather, then your father, and then now you. If that doesn't exist, right? Or then they're just looking at the parties, right? And they'll like making assessments the best they can. And yeah, they'll vote for Republicans. And then Democrats will be shocked, right? Because they didn't automatically get their votes. Like I thought I could just point at Trump being horrible, doing horrible things, right? And that'll scare you. Oh, that didn't scare you? Oh, I had no other ideas because I don't have a policy agenda.
Not at all. Their only policy is, hey, like, we're not racist, for completely forgetting that minorities, like, by nature are conservative, right? Like they don't agree overwhelmingly with a lot of like the leftist socialist policy. The only reason most minorities were voting Democrats because, hey, they're the not racist party, and they seem to look out for they seem to care a little bit, right? They want health care and yada yada yada. But at the end of the day, if the Republicans can promise them like, hey, we can get you more money in your pocket, well then the other values are right fucking there for them, I'm trying to say this for a while. Dearborn, doesn't really care to be leftist. It just cares to make money. If whoever can promise them the best benefits, you'll probably get the vote. And the left is promising no benefit.
think there's a I don't know for sure. Obviously, you know more about Dearborn than I do, but I think there's
Yeah.
the religious aspect as well. Like,
Yeah. So like it's predominantly Muslim, but honestly, like
no, but I mean
people,
also like let's say there's more alignment between let's say Christian religious conservatives and Muslims.
yeah. So there
Obviously
is,
not a perfect overlap, but you know, let's
but
say they're
typically,
both
yeah.
anti-gay. I think that's fair to say.
Yeah, but like typically Dearborn votes blue because realistically democratic social policies benefit them to a way greater extent. It's just in in a world where they feel like neither of them is neither party is giving them the promise that they want, right? Which is like Gaza at this point. Then they're just going to vote with their pockets, which it will lean Republican because Republicans promise you money in your pocket versus like, hey, you will get benefits through like if we tax you, you'll get these X amount of benefit through these taxes, right? They don't really care for that. They just want more money in their pocket if they're living here.
Like again, you know more than could it also just be like you know, vote with people of the book type of thing as well?
No, because like I said, typically they vote blue, they vote Democrat.
Yeah, but but you said like largely for like the social policy, but the social if the social policy is not there, then it's like, well, then why not just go with the people of the book type of thing?
So like a lot of Americans American Muslims aren't like the religious aspect of like they're like Shia Muslim. They're not really like
Okay.
too gung ho, and they're not voting with their religion most of their
Okay,
time. They
yeah,
are
yeah.
voting through like
Fair enough.
policy.
Sorry, hold on. But like historically, before 9/11, Muslims voted Republican. After 9/11 and everything that happened,
started
they
voting
switched
Democrat.
because they got tossed out of the party. But like the point is that it seems that from everything I've heard, that the Muslim community is socially conservative. To our friend Corey's point, there is a mostly socially conservative group who could be we're happy at home within the Republican Party, but they just happen to be driven out.
Yeah.
Okay, but it seems like we're saying the opposite of that.
No, I'm saying I literally said that most minority groups are typically conservative and only vote with Democratic parties because the right is racist, right? The Democratic Party is a less racist party. And so that's why they've swayed most of the. But if that's the only thing they have going for them is, hey, we're the not racist party, well then, if they're receiving no benefit, then they're just going to vote with the Republicans.
The Dems have been
because
exposed
one, they're
for being
already conservative,
racist.
and two, Republicans promise money in their pocket.
Well, at 3, now the Dems are being exposed for being just as racist as they claim not to be. So, you know, it's you know, Republicans are picking up swaths of minorities.
You keep saying that. I don't know what you mean by that. Like, do you mean like the average Democrat person, or do you mean like politicians who have like who are like what do you mean by when you say like Democrats are the racist ones?
I mean, both.
Like DEI.
Yeah, DEI is racist. I mean, people that are pushed.
That's still not reflected in the numbers. Like you can say that at the end of the day, that Democrats still black vote still goes to the Democrats.
Yeah, but more black votes are switching over to the Republicans than before.
Yeah, but that's going from like single digits to like, okay, 10, 15%. Like, oh, wow.
Adding, hey, you start collecting a nickel here, a dime there, you know, it starts adding up.
Yeah, well,
to be fair, that was more Trump than like Republicanism.
I agree. It's a troubling trend, but we'll see. Let's say how the next few elections play. Like, if it goes back down to single digits, like your argument is pretty moot.
Yeah, you guys do have the Cubans, right? The Cubans are pretty locked in on the Republicanism right now.
Not right now. They've always been like that.
Well, yeah.
I mean, other Hispanics
leaving communism.
Well, hold on. Hispanics have gained. Like, there's been gain in the Hispanics, despite the like kind of what crackdown on what people perceive as Hispanics.
The Puerto Ricans for Trump went crazy in Massachusetts. I don't fucking understand that for a second.
That's because of the corruption there. By the Dems.
The corruption in Puerto Rico?
Yeah.
What?
The local Dems are corrupt, so.
The local Dems of Puerto Rico are corrupt. I think Puerto Rico just like is like, hey, we just want to be our own island. They're just they're like a fucking halfway house, bro. You guys, we took over this fucking country and we did nothing. We're doing nothing with it. Nothing. Nothing is happening in Puerto Rico.
It's
nothing.
A very complicated issue locally.
Is it a very complicated issue, just like Palestine? Locally. Is it a complicated?
I mean, for them, apparently it is. I don't know. Like it's like
for us. What do you mean for them? For them, they know they want liberation, but we can't
liberate
them.
They voted for statehood like not too long ago. Even.
Well, because we won't liberate them, so then give them statehood.
Yeah, well, you don't get to leave apparently once you join.
So okay, well, you don't get to become a state either. So what do they do? They just live in limbo
They're-
forever, and then we blame
yeah,
them.
I mean, they're lucky they're not in like a special economic status or something, right?
I don't know. I think at a certain point we need to address the Puerto Rico situation. I think there needs to be some type of resolve. Either 51st state them, or fucking let them go. But like do something because
I'm okay with making a
we're
mistake.
just doing nothing. We're just doing
But it's
nothing.
the locals. The locals are the reason why it's not a state. They keep fucking that up. That's the national.
Because we're not benefiting them. We're not benefiting the locals in any way, shape, or form.
Well, if they became a state, then they would have to be a right.
You just said they keep voting for statehood and we don't give them statehood.
Well, yeah, it's complicated. It's not like just like they vote and we don't give it to them. Sometimes they'll vote and then like we won't give it to them. Sometimes because they won't meet certain like criteria, and then sometimes
What do you mean criteria? They're our territory.
Just go look up statehood in Puerto Rico. It is like madly complicated. I'm telling you, like it's you would think it would be easy. I've been to Puerto Rico 3 times.
500 years. How long have we had them? How long has Puerto Rico been like our little baby?
I can't tell you why. It's like
I think at a certain point we got to look within and be like, this Hawaii is right there. We handled Hawaii.
Yeah,
I don't know how we can't handle Puerto Rico.
Yeah, we should treat it like we treat Hawaii.
There was a book that talked about this. And they said that like if you look at the history of any state, like it don't like the ones as we go out west, right? The other than 13 original colonies, that like they don't become states until they reach a level of like a percentage of the white population, right? The white population got to like some majority, right? And then that's when they were let in. And so, like, I think that's the case there. Like, if tomorrow, right, it became like 51% white, I think they're in. I think all of a sudden that there's some.
So what you're saying is Logan Paul is actually the savior of Puerto Rico.
Yes, that's 100% where I was going with that. But no, I think that like any reticence you see from the Republican Party goes away. It's like, oh, okay, those are people now, and they're convincible. Okay, like this is a gettable group, and we'll let them in.
Yeah,
right now these are Americans.
I can agree with you, but it's like we're not giving. I mean, too many white people incentive to like really go move to Puerto Rico, right? If we don't take care of them during their tragedies, if they don't have necessarily the greatest infrastructure for like just swaths of white people to go over to make it a 51% white colony, then like once again, we just have this like these stateless people in limbo, right? They're part of American territory, but they don't get to vote.
They did do something.
We get to make impositions on them, and they just have to live under subjugation. And then while in America, we call them a floating island of trash, when it's like, it's not really their fault. They don't get to move.
Recently, Ollie, they changed it. This is why Logan Paul is there at all. And I brought this kind of joke.
Now there's tax incentives.
And now when you have rich enough people moving into the island, guess what? Now you have public works incentives because they don't want to live in a floating island of trash. They want to fucking live somewhere where that's, my summer house is going to be here, and I'm going to hide my money here. I would like to be able to drive from here to the bank without fucking driving through a pile of trash. And so, like, then you get your public works built. And Logan
so we have the displacement plan, right? We take the Puerto Ricans.
Really is the savior of Puerto Rico.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the part that pisses you off, Gibbs, is we take the Puerto Ricans and we got to put them somewhere else. And since they're already technically Americans, we're just gonna bring them here. And then you guys are going to complain that all these fucking Puerto Rican refugees, right? Because we got to house them, we got to fucking support them, we got to integrate them one way or another, right?
Yeah, no, they'll move here.
I'm not sure they'd be refugees.
No. I said at this point because we're going to have to move large groups of people over,
moving and spreading Puerto Rican culture across the United States and their food, finding jobs everywhere. Well, millions of new entrepreneurs nationwide.
If a Puerto Rican comes over here, Gibbs, do you just consider them an American? Like if a Puerto Rican wants to move to America, they're just like, so every Puerto Rican that wants to move should be able to move to America.
They're already American. Yeah, they're American.
All right, cool. Listen,
we can get Puerto Rican.
I'm not opposed
Puerto
to this.
Rican women everywhere. What's wrong with you?
Listen. I'm here. We're in agreement on this. I thought you would be a little bit opposed. So wait, if we annexed Mexico and then all the Mexicans wanted to come over and be Americans,
Yeah,
you'd be
well,
cool.
no,
You'd be cool with that.
I'm-
So
Gibbs
long as
wants
we're
to,
annexed.
Gibbs wants to annex the world. Like,
Yeah.
I know, but I'm just,
What-
I'm just saying. If well, I'm just saying.
I
if
am
we
open
annex
to
Mexico
negotiation.
and
You know what I'm
mad
saying?
Mexicans want to move to Texas, you don't really have an argument
Thanks.
there. Then.
Listen, I'm open to some negotiation.
Yeah, okay. So you're so long as they're annexed and Mexicans become American by name, they move over with their Spanish and their culture and their traditions and their so on and so forth. In America, well, I mean, you don't care. You're Mexican. America doesn't need to be a white country for you.
Exactly.
Okay, fair.
I will get more Latinas. I'm winning all around here so far.
Um,
The only one winning on these things is me, apparently.
So I think we've accomplished our goal here. Thanks for guys for chilling with me. Unfortunately, we had a lot of cancellations today, so we didn't have our full panel, but we had, I think, some pretty good discussions here. It was less of a debate, more of a, just feeling each other's.
One question that's totally unrelated. I'm just curious on. So, what are your thoughts on self checkout? Do you think it's good,
My thoughts on self
or anybody's thoughts?
I hate
And they're-
self checkout, and I want it listed. I take every opportunity to steal as whatever I can when I'm doing self checkout because
Don't
the
admit to any
grocery store.
crimes. I'm not lactoid, but I'm pretty sure lactoid would advise you not to
Fuck
admit
the
to any
grocery store. If I have to go and do a job, I deserve a employee discount.
Amen.
Right? I did not
agree.
sign up to fucking do self checkout. I didn't sign up to do any work. And then at a certain point, we need to talk about automation and how we can't keep getting rid of low skill jobs. We need low skill jobs because we have low skill people. Low skill people need jobs. They need to make money. Unless we have some type of UBI, right? Unless we have a UBI, then whatever.
That's a whole other 3-hour debate right there.
Yeah, unless you want to, if you guys want to foot the bill, then automate fucking everything. I'm down, but otherwise, no. We need low skill labor. We need it.
So I don't necessarily I'll just give my, and this is just like from my personal experience, where when self checkout a number of years ago was being rolled out, I was like, thought this was like, let's say, a good thing. It'd be faster, at least for me personally. I think it'd be faster because I felt like, but I've ran into at least, and this might just be unique to me. I've run into a sort of an interesting phenomenon of like, since it's self checkout, like people just seem to just like take their time, and I just witnessed a number of people like they're on their phone like FaceTiming a person,
Yep,
and they're just
chilling.
like standing there. I'm like, what is going on? But and since there's no cashier there, like with the cashier, there's like pressure, and the cashier is like
because
actually
they're
like
at work. There's urgency. The other
moving
people
through.
aren't at work.
But like, yeah, I was just like, and for some self checkout areas, there's like a person there, like sort of checking. But like, I was at this like it's been multiple times like at self checkout, and like it's full, and there's one person like they're like either on their phone, and they're just like having a full conversation there, just like hanging out.
Yeah. There's no workers. There's no urgency, man. There's no convenience at the convenience store, Corey. Sorry,
I don't disagree.
No, I like self checkout as like a release valve for people who are like, okay, we're not got enough cashiers or whatever, or like it's extremely busy. Let me try my hand at at self checkout. Right. So I like it as a bit of a release valve. My problem is that it also gives employers the ability to not hire or not have on shift the requisite number of cashiers. Yeah, cashiers. That like hey, if I can get away with less cashiers because we got self checkout, right? In the end, what I really want is for everyone to self checkout. No, I want a cashier to go and just like get it done for me. I don't want to bother. My big problem with such an honest is that like I hate the whole process, right? And like a lot of times I get stuck and I need to wait for someone to come over because now you got a different system from what everyone else is using, right? And now it's not recognizing my items and pretending that I'm trying to steal something when I'm not, a lot of bullshit. And I don't want to have to deal with, right? Like, let me just go through the aisle, like, and be done with it. But like, so yeah, I think there are some positives to it, but like a whole lot of negative.
Yeah, in the beginning, well, so I like it when like my grocery store is like empty and I'm the only one. But then like when it's full and like understandably like some people, unfortunately struggle with self checkout. It's
But
either
if
it's
it's
like
empty, why not go to the cashiers then?
oh well, sometimes the cashiers just aren't there.
Well, they're not there because
No.
it's empty, right? It's slow, so they go to the self checkout.
Yeah, but
Mm.
at my grocery store, let's say during busy times, like there's a self checkout area, and I think there's like 2 or 3 aisles with like cashiers. I haven't like stood around and see like I compared the speeds, but it's like when I'm in the self checkout line and it's full, it's like I just see people like having conversations or just like casually like taking their time scanning things and struggling with bagging at the same time.
The bagging's
Yeah.
the big one. When you go, like they're like even like now, I'll go and they have the express checkout, which is like 15 or less, right? You have the self checkout, and then you have like the regular ones, right? At these stores, like they'll have less baggers now because they got the self checkout, and like they'll maybe have the baggers all at the express, right? And it's like you'll get down, and then they'll have one guy come sprinting down and trying to bag like a 30.
One guy
like,
doing all the aisles of bags.
and it's just like. So this is slowing shit way down. I'm waiting for this bagger to get to aisle number 6, and I'm on like 10, and I don't know. I don't go to the fucking ones that aren't self checkout for a slow experience either. I go to the one that's not the self checkout to have my shit bagged. I don't want to be helping the fucking one grocer bag my bullshit. Like that's awful. I hate it.
It's also Walmart can make an extra $1 an hour off, not having the fucking worker. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I agree. So far, like. In the beginning, I was sort of like on board, but
I think that we should be able to steal the amount of money we make an hour, for when I have to self check
per item. That's what I was saying.
I'm thinking like $200 or $300 items. I should be able to steal a TV if I'm in there 2 hours and I have to walk out. I'm just saying,
per item, man.
That will convince me.
If they're gonna get me with the self checkout, then
it's the same thing. It's the same thing with the kiosks for me at McDonald's. It's like. I want these people to do their fucking job so that they can have a job. But then also I just hate dealing with like tech because it's like you don't get to just like make the same requests, right? Like
So
you now have to
you
have to learn and understand a system, right? And even though like they make it makeshifted, like easily accessible, like there's just some shit I'm not trying to do when I'm like
well, and I'm always
food.
gonna pick it.